How's it going, folks? Welcome to another fun at-home table read. Tonight, we're taking a look at another unproduced script. This time, an unmade Freddy versus Jason. This one called Nightmare 13, Freddy Meets Jason. I know nothing about why this or when the script was written or anything about it, so let's just jump into it. Let's get started with our introductions.
I'm Angie, and I'm reading action description.
Hello, my name is Mary. I'll be reading for Meagan.
I'm Logan. I'm going to be Freddy.
I'm Eric. I will be Jason.
I'm Nicole. I will read for Lizzy.
Hey, I'm Randi. I'm reading for Jesse.
Juan. I'm playing Murdoch.
Hi, I'm George, and I'm going to be Stormie.
Why, hello, I'm Travis, and I'll be playing Erwin.
All right. Well, Angie, take us away.
Nightmare 13, Freddy Meets Jason by Lewis Abernathy. Fade in. Exterior Elm Street day. Meagan is coming down the sidewalk in slow motion, her dress and long hair blowing slightly in the breeze. The sound of children chanting increases.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
On you, there's a rumble and a flash, like quick lightning, only evil. Choice flashes from Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 2. Meagan turns at 1665, a beautiful white two-story house, thick with lush green foliage. Several beautiful children, all dressed in bright white, play hopscotch and jump rope on the front walk.
3, 4, better lock your door.
Close on a little girl's foot coming down the number 4 drawn on concrete. Another rumble and a flash, longer, louder. Flashes from Nightmare 3 and 4. Meagan continues up the walk. The wind is blowing a little harder now. The trees are brown, the leaves peeling away. Moving up the walk, closer to the house, only now it's a little darker, needs some paint. On the front porch, a little girl rides a tricycle.
5, 6,
Rumble, flash, Nightmare 5, and Freddy's dead.
grab your crucifix.
The Ix echoes away, becoming a faint ka, ka, ka. We all recognize as Jason's theme. Meagan turns to find the children in the yard have vanished. It's nighttime. The trees are dead, the grass is gone, and the horizon stretches off into utter nothingness. Meagan turns back to the little girl, but the little girl is gone. Only the tricycle remains. It circles once, the front door creaks open, and an empty tricycle pedals inside. Meagan follows it into interior house on Elm Street, continuous action. Meagan enters the house slowly, watching as the tricycle rides off down a creepy hallway and disappears. Then the front door blows shut behind Meagan. She tries to open it. Locked. Then faint voices cause Meagan to pause. She listens, trying to make out the low murmur. Then a little girl giggle. Meagan recognizes it as her little sister's.
Lizzy?
Meagan moves up the stairs, going down the hall, following the voices. We recognize the other voice as belonging to Freddy. Meagan enters a door at the end of the hallway, moving into interior Lizzy's room, nightmare, continuous action. On the floor near the bed is Meagan's 13-year-old sister, Lizzy. Slow for her age, Lizzy sits and draws with crayons.
Lizzy, what are you doing here?
Playing with my friend.
Meagan looks at the drawings, childlike renderings of Freddy.
Your friend?
He lives under the bed.
Meagan slowly gets on her knees and takes a peek under Lizzy's bed. Suddenly, a doll-sized Freddy scurries out from under the bed, flashing past Meagan's face and running out the door. Meagan yelps and touches her face. 5 tiny slash marks on her cheek. Lizzy clucks.
Shh. You scared him.
Meagan looks out the door, incredulous.
I scared him?
But when Meagan looks back, Lizzy is gone.
Lizzy!
Lizzy echoes away as Meagan finds herself standing in the interior Nightmare Chapel, continuous action. The tiny Freddy dashes from the pews and jumps into the casket on the altar, slamming the lid shut. Meagan goes to the casket and carefully opens the lid. Inside, a rotting corpse with worms and maggots crawling all over it. Meagan screams and slams down. The casket starts to move. Thump, thump, thump. Then it stops. Tentatively, Meagan opens the lid again. Inside, Freddy Krueger. He grabs her arm.
Where you been all my death, baby?
Meagan screams. Freddy leaps out of the casket in a tuxedo, crooning.
I've been waiting at the altar for a long, long time.
Meagan looks down. She's wearing a wedding dress spattered with blood. Behind her, the chapel is filled with dozens of dead people in various stages of decay. A satanic priest appears at the pulpit and asks,
Are the bridesmaids in attendance?
Meagan looks to her left. 4 girls hold bouquets, dressed in body bags.
And the groomsmen?
Freddy opens his tuxedo jacket to reveal several trapped souls struggling to get out of his chest.
If anyone here believes that these two should not be joined in unholy matrimony, let him speak now or forever rot in hell.
From the back of the chapel, a voice.
Meagan?
Meagan turns. It's her boyfriend, Jesse. He stands in the chapel doorway, backlit by bright light, arms outstretched.
Jesse!
Meagan runs to Jesse and grabs him, their arms encircling one another. She looks up into Jesse's eyes, only it isn't Jesse. It's Jason. Meagan screams as Jason raises his machete, bringing it down between her eyes. Transition cut to interior Megan's room, morning. Megan opens her eyes as her alarm clock buzzes. She was dreaming. She gets up quickly and crosses to her dresser. She looks into the mirror at the tiny cuts on her cheek and clucks. Then she exits, going into interior Lizzy's room, continuous action. Megan opens the door to her sister's room, breathing a sigh of relief when she sees Lizzy curled up in a bed with a doll. Megan smiles and starts to exit when she notices something not quite right about the doll. She moves closer and pulls Lizzy's arm away to reveal a hideous little Freddy doll. Megan gasps.
Freddy. Freddy.
Suddenly, the doll opens its eyes and sneers.
Well, it ain't Raggedy Ann, bitch!
The Freddy doll flashes its tiny glove of knives, thrusting them deep into Megan's chest. Hard cut to interior Megan's room, morning. For real. Megan sits up suddenly in bed, clutching her chest. She looks down and sees that there is nothing there. Megan sighs and falls back to her bed. Just a bad dream. Bzzz. Her alarm clock buzzes. Megan sits up with a start again. Her fright turns to rage as she pounds the alarm clock into submission. Megan climbs out of bed. Interior Lizzy's room, morning. Megan enters and finds Lizzy still asleep, clutching her Raggedy Ann doll. She gently pries the doll away, tossing it disdainfully away. Megan picks up a small glass unicorn and playfully prances it around on Lizzy's head.
Wake up, sleepyhead. Time to wake up.
Lizzy's eyes flutter open. She smiles at her sister, then frowns.
Oh, I had a bad dream.
Yeah, me too.
I was scared.
Don't worry. They can't hurt you.
Promise?
Promise.
Lizzy hugs Megan.
I'll never let anyone hurt you.
Interior kitchen, morning. Close on a small television set on the kitchen table. A flashy graphic flashes across the screen. AM News special report, Cops versus the Cult, day 13. A news reporter stands in front of a police blockade. In the background, dozens of police and SWAT men surround a small, rundown 2-story house. Freddy's house.
As the sun rises on yet another morning, still no end in sight for the standoff between police and the mysterious group known only as the Freddy cult, who seized the abandoned house behind me just 13 days ago. These cultists, mostly runaway teenagers, have managed to keep police at bay for almost 2 weeks, while inside they take mind-altering narcotics in order to communicate with their god, Freddy.
The reporter babbles on as Megan enters the kitchen, where Megan's mom is sitting and watching the TV, gulping down orange juice. Across from mom is Megan's dad, who is having coffee, reading the paper. Megan pours herself a cup and sits.
Morning.
Megan's mom grunts, transfixed on the news. Dad looks over his paper long enough to smile and say, just a little too cheerfully,
Morning, Megan.
Megan looks over at her mother, then back at her father, mouthing the words, how's mom? When suddenly Megan's mom bellows.
Lizzy, get down here. Breakfast is almost ready.
Megan turns back to her dad, but he is ducked back into his paper. Megan sighs and sips her coffee. Angle on TV, a police booking photo of Fred Krueger.
Alleged child murderer Fred Krueger was released on a legal technicality, but later burned to death at the hands of a vigilante mob of grieving parents. Some years later, a rash of bizarre and unexplainable teenage deaths began leaving many in the area to wonder, is Freddy really dead?
Megan's younger sister, Lizzy, comes down to breakfast. The microwave dings, and Megan's mom pulls out 3 Pop-Tarts, dealing them to her family like playing cards. Lizzy picks up her Pop-Tart, whining.
Hurry up and eat. You don't want to be late for special school.
Mom, don't call it that.
I hate that school. The other kids are mean and they all call me something mean. I don't know what to say.
Megan snickers.
Hey, we don't use that word. They're special children, just like you're special.
Dad looks over at Mom, who shoots him an angry look. Dad takes a bite of his Pop-Tart, sinking back behind the paper. Angle on TV.
The cult members have declined to an on-camera interview, but did send out a note with a message. The note, which by the way appears to have been written in blood, reads, "To the parents of Springwood, Freddy lives. Soon he will come and take one of your children as his virgin bride. Then Freddy will beat upon her, and behold, a soulless child shall be born. The vessel for Freddy to rise and rule the darkness forever and ever."
A horn toots outside.
Oh, that's Jesse. Let's go, Lizzy.
Megan collects her books and her sister. This is Dad's cue to look at his watch and say,
Oh, look at the time. I've got to be going. Anyone need me to bring anything home tonight?
I need an alarm clock.
What's wrong with your old one?
Broke.
Megan kisses her dad as she and Lizzy hurry out the door. Megan's dad looks over at his wife, who says,
Almost out of vodka.
Exterior Megan's house, morning. Continuous action. Megan and Lizzy climb into Jesse's car.
Good morning. Hey, what's the matter?
My mom,
And,
I had another dream last night.
oh, was I naked?
No, you were Jason.
Jason? Oh, eesh. Was I any good?
Megan playfully smacks him as Jesse's car roars off. Interior kitchen, same time. Megan's dad hesitates at the front door, clutching his keys and briefcase as he musters the courage to say something.
Shit. Fuck. Do you have to watch that crap all the time? Months and months of O.J. Simpson trial, and now this.
Mom reaches over and switches off the TV. Dad smiles slightly and exits. Mom waits until the door closes, then takes a bottle of vodka and pours a goodly bit into her orange juice. She takes a deep drink and switches the set back on. Close on the TV, on the TV as the news reporter interviews Captain Renton Murdoch, state trooper.
I'm standing here with State Trooper Captain Renton Murdoch, the man the governor has called in to deal with the cultists because of his past experience with the cult-style murderers. In fact, Trooper Murdoch is the only law enforcement officer ever to survive a one-on-one encounter with notorious Camp Crystal Lake killer Jason Voorhees. You received some pretty nasty injuries in your battle with Jason, didn't you, Captain?
Nothing serious, just a few stitches.
What about these so-called Freddy cultists? They seem like pretty tough customers. Think you'll have any trouble getting them out of there?
No, now that the governor's given me complete authority to deal with these punks, I should be putting an end to this situation pretty quick. Unless, of course, their attorney is able to get them out, come out peacefully. But I don't hold out much hope for that.
Captain Renton Murdoch, ladies and gentlemen. A tough cop for tough criminals.
Cut to exterior Freddy cult compound moments later. Murdoch gets to the command car, sitting down next to the SWAT commander, sitting behind the wheel.
Damn media. Want to be a law. That shyster's still in there trying to talk them out.
Yeah, he's making them some kind of deal.
Damn lawyers. What a bunch of assholes. Shakespeare was right. Kill all the lawyers. Maybe we should call the punks with no hassles and the world will be a safer place.
Smaller anyway.
What does Shakespeare know? Long-haired English freak. He's probably a punk.
Interior cult compound, same time. Meanwhile, inside the house, the cult's sleazy lawyer is sitting on a crate in the middle of a dark room. He's surrounded by cultists, heavily armed teenage punks in red and olive sweaters and fedoras, all of Freddy. They stare out at him through sunglasses with red flashing diodes that barely hide their burned and disfigured faces. The lawyer shifts uncomfortably on a crate as he takes a deep snort from inside his briefcase, held neatly on his lap. Then he lifts his head, wiping his nose nervously as he speaks.
So as I explained to you before, the revenues between the TV movie deal and the book sale should be adequate to fund your joint defense. And I think with my mass media hypnosis argument, I could get each of you a reduced sentence on appeal, say 20 years each, out in 15 with good behavior.
Hard cut to exterior cult compound moments later. The lawyer's disembodied head comes sailing out of the upstairs window, smacking into the compound car's windshield with a loud splat.
Jesus Christ.
Murdoch curses and leaps out of the car, charging the house as he blasts away with 2 nickel-plated 45s. Suddenly, gunfire erupts from every window in the house. Bullet hits riddling the cop cars, smashing windows and emergency lights. The SWAT team follows Murdoch through the hall of gunfire as he kicks open the front door. Interior cult compound. Next instant. Whack! The door flies open and Murdoch and the SWAT team move in. The windows have been covered with foil. The walls have been painted black with cult slogans written in red, making the whole house black as pitch. The SWAT team puts their night vision goggles and starts moving through the house. Point of view through night vision goggles as the SWAT team goes through the house shooting cultists, a la the computer game Doom. Then a blinding flash of light as a SWAT guy goes down, shot in the face. Several of the cultists lead the attacking SWAT team deeper into the house. As one of the SWAT guys follows, his foot trips a wire. A trapdoor opens in the floor, and the SWAT guy falls into a pit waist deep in water. Suddenly, the water starts churning, and the guy starts screaming. It's a tank of piranhas. 2 other SWAT guys grab his arms and pull him out. Too late. His legs have been shredded to the bone. Another SWAT guy kicks in a door and a room and steps in, firing his machine gun. A large scythe swings down and severs both his arms at the elbows. His arms fall to the floor, still firing the machine gun. The cultists race into the room, grabbing handrailing bolted overhead. They swing like monkeys across the ceiling just as a SWAT guy charges into the room behind them. Close on SWAT guy's boots as he steps onto a floor covered with upturned nails. Several nails puncture his boots, the points coming through the laces. The SWAT guy screams and another SWAT guy barrels into the room to see what's wrong. He knocks the first guy face first into the floor and nails. Meanwhile, Murdoch is having a blast, literally. He kicks open the door to a room and guns down 3 cultists as they try to escape out a window. As the last body pitches to the floor, Murdoch yells,
Freeze!
Murdoch exits, laughing to himself. The running gun battle continues as the cultists retreat to the back of the house, throwing Molotov cocktails. Soon the first floor is ablaze. A SWAT guy screams as he is consumed by fire. The cultists thunder down the back staircase to the interior basement. Continuous action. The cultists uncover a secret passageway under the house, and most escape through an underground tunnel just before the SWAT team comes blasting into the basement. As the last of the remaining cultists is capped off, a faint voice cries for help. The SWAT commander raises his hand.
Hold your fire.
He pulls off his night vision goggles and shines his flashlight into the basement. Through the dense smoke, he sees a little girl in a white dress tied to a chair sitting on a crate. Underneath the chair are several sticks of dynamite wired to a timer. Close on the timer. 30, 29, 28.
Help me, mister, please.
The SWAT commander rushes to the girl, kneeling down to look at the bomb. Then he takes a Leatherman tool from his vest and starts to work on the bomb's timer.
Hang on, honey. I'll have you out of here in a second.
Murdoch comes down the stairs. He goes to the secret passageway and says,
Looks like we'll have to hunt the rest of them down. Let's go before we get too far.
We can't leave. Can't you see we've got a situation here?
Murdoch looks at the little girl and shrugs.
Leave her.
You're crazy. I can't just leave her.
Forget it. I've seen this before. There's nothing you can do.
I've got to try.
The SWAT commander wipes his brow and leans in to work on the bomb again. Close on timer. 24, 23, 22. The basement ceiling is now fully ablaze and chunks of burning debris fall around the skittish SWAT team. Murdoch looks at his watch in a bored fashion.
You're wasting your time.
The SWAT commander studies the wires for another second, then glances back at the timer. 15, 14, 13.
Fuck it.
The SWAT commander whips out a Spartico knife and cuts the little girl loose. He carries her out in his arms and he shouts to his men.
Clear out, she's gonna blow.
The SWAT team exits the basement with Murdoch bringing up the rear. Exterior cult compound, next instant. The SWAT commander staggers out with the little girl, followed closely with the remainder of his men, and finally Murdoch. The commander throws himself to the ground, covering the little girl with his body as ba-boom! The Elm Street house explodes. Murdoch stands as debris rains down around him. He mutters.
Punks.
As the dust settles, the SWAT commander rolls off the little girl and starts checking her for injury.
You okay, honey?
Suddenly, the little girl jumps onto the SWAT commander, flashing a glove of knives. She hisses.
Freddy lives.
With a quick swing, the little girl slashes the commander's face. She dives back for a plunge to his throat when Murdoch walks up and kicks her off. He puts his boot on her, holding her down, as he takes his aim on her head with a pistol, execution style.
No!
The SWAT commander grabs Murdoch's arm just in time. Several cops rush in and grab the girl, dragging her off, kicking and screaming.
Jesus, you were gonna kill that kid, weren't you?
I told you were wasting your time. Once these kids go rabbit, best thing they do is put them down.
You can't be serious.
Dead serious. See, the world is made up of rules. Kids don't like rules. They rebel for a while, but ultimately they start to fall in line and become ordinary Joes like you and me. But some kids, dope smokers mainly, watching their MTV, satanic lyrics melting what's left of their brains, these kids grow up to be punks. And when these punks step as far over the line as these Freddy punks have, we as peace officers have no choice but to kill them.
I didn't become a peace officer to kill kids.
Punks. There's a difference. Barely.
Interior high school day. Close on graffiti written across lockers, Freddy lives. We move from the small classroom window. Through it, we see Meagan sitting in economics class. The instructor, Miss Krebs, is lecturing.
Business, business, business. Numbers.
It's hot. Several of the kids fan themselves, struggling to stay awake, while others have already passed out on their desks. Megan's eyes are heavy. She looks over at Jesse, pretending to follow along in his book, fast asleep. The antique oscillating fan on Miss Krebs' desk clicks loudly as she drones on.
Economics. Very important, especially for taxes. Something they didn't teach you in high school.
Megan starts to drift off when...
Megan!
Yes, ma'am.
I asked if you were ready to give your oral report.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Well, please come up here to the podium.
Megan gets up and goes to the podium amidst the snickers of some of her classmates. Miss Krebs snaps her fingers for quiet.
You won't think it's funny when you haven't learned any fundamentals of a free market economy. Oh, why do I waste my breath? You're all going to grow up to be gas station attendants and waitresses anyway. Go ahead, Megan.
My report is on global economic trends. Try and think of a world where there was no poverty, no sickness, no crime. A world where everyone is happy to be alive and everyone lives together in peace. This is my dream.
The fan on Miss Krebs' desk starts to click louder, blowing harder. Megan raises her eyebrow but continues with the report.
This dream is becoming a reality with ever-growing international business.
Close on the fan as it changes, getting creepier, turning into a Freddy fan, blowing harder, clicking louder.
Louder, Megan. We can't hear you.
Megan repeats the last few sentences, raising her voice to be heard over the fan. Then pages of her report start to blow away. She grabs at them as the wind increases. A bottle of glue stowed in the podium overturns and spills on the floor at Megan's feet. She presses it down, but the wind is too great and the skirt billows up, revealing her underwear. The class roars with laughter.
Louder, Megan. We still can't hear you.
But Meagan isn't reading her report anymore. She's busy trying to push down her skirt when, rip, the wind blows her skirt off. Her classmates fall over themselves laughing. Rip! Meagan's blouse blows away. She tries to hide behind a podium when that too is swept off. Meagan clutches at her bra and panties as they start to drift away, thread by thread. She's almost naked. Meagan looks up at her classmates, red in the face. Her classmates point and laugh, only now they are all a bunch of old, rotten skeletons. And up front, in the center where Miss Krebs sat, is Freddy. He wears a beanie with a propeller, points, and laughs.
All dressed up and nowhere to blow.
Meagan screams, clutching at the last few tiny strands of cloth that cover her body. She calls to Jessie, pleading,
Jessie, please help me.
Jessie just sits at his desk, dead. He reaches up and slowly lowers a hockey mask over his pale, expressionless face.
Looks like a photo opportunity to me.
Freddy pulls out an oversized camera with a gargantuan flashbulb attached. The flashbulb is the size of a beach ball and has a nuclear warning etched in the front. Freddy seizes Meagan up in the viewfinder and sneers.
Say cheesecake!
Phoom! The flashbulb goes off with an atomic light. Meagan screams as her skeleton is blown back against the blackboard, vaporized. Hard cut 2. Meagan waking up in her seat suddenly. The classroom is normal. Miss Krebs is standing over her, asking,
Meagan! Meagan!
Meagan looks around, bewildered and confused.
I asked you if you were ready to give your report.
Meagan realizes that she was dreaming and pulls herself together.
Sure.
Meagan stands up and faints. Dissolve to Interior School Nurse's office minutes later. Megan's point of view as a school nurse comes into focus, standing over her.
Meagan, can you hear me? Do you know where you are?
Meagan is lying on a couch, a cloth over her head.
I was daydreaming. Then I woke up. But then it was like I was still dreaming. And then I woke up. And then I guess I fainted and now I'm awake again.
Are you sure?
Meagan stares at the nurse for a moment.
Meagan,
I'm waiting to see if you're going to turn into Freddy.
Freddy. I see. You've been watching too much CNN. That crazy Freddy cult thing, all over the TV day and night. You can't get away from it. No wonder you kids are all having nightmares.
But this one was different. It felt real.
But that's just it, Meagan. Dreams aren't real. They're just broken fragments of the subconscious mind.
Fear is real though, isn't it? And if nightmares are fear, then doesn't that make them real? And if nightmares are real, then is reality like a dream?
Meagan, you got heat frustration. That's all.
The nurse slaps a wet towel over her face. Interior school hallway moments later, Jessie is waiting for Meagan as she emerges from the nurse's office, muttering under her breath.
Old witch, what does she know? She isn't even qualified to give a shot, and she's telling me that my dreams aren't anything to worry about.
So she said you were okay.
Oh, sure. Madame Curie is there, says it's just a case of heat prostration and an overdose of TV nudes. Ruined my makeup too.
So you're going back to class?
No, she gave me last period off.
Well, what are you bitching about? I could have a compound fracture of the skull and she wouldn't excuse me from PE.
Jessie! I've been having nightmares for almost 2 weeks now and they keep getting worse. Now I'm having daymares. I want to know why.
Okay, well, didn't the nurse say it was heat probation?
Meagan rolls her eyes in frustration.
You don't understand. I want to know more about the dreams, what they mean, why we have them.
Okay, Meg, go look it up. You've got the rest of the day off. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, that's a good idea. Why don't you cut last period and come with me?
Sure. Where are we going?
The library.
You want me to cut school so we can go to the library?
Cut to interior library afternoon. Meagan pours through an old psychology book. Across the table, Jessie peers into another psychology book.
Find anything?
Jessie looks up suddenly.
What? No, nothing yet.
Over Jessie's shoulder, we see he has a copy of Road and Truck tucked inside his psychology book.
Did you know that our subconscious retains everything that ever happened to us? Everything. From the time we're born until the time we die.
Really?
That's how Freddy gets at us. By using our subconscious fears. Fears our conscious minds have repressed or forgotten.
Well, I've got a news flash for you. Freddy's dead.
I'm not so sure. If Freddy exists in our subconscious, then he can never be fully erased. Like a bad memory. You may blot it out, your mind, but you will always be hiding somewhere in your dreams. Weren't you scared as a child by something so stupid they were ashamed to admit it?
No.
No?
Well, yeah.
Well, what? What is it?
Well, when I was a kid, my brother took me to the carnival, and in the penny arcade, there was this robot gunslinger.
Black Bart.
You know about Black Bart?
Duh. You put your quarter in and he says, go ahead and draw, tenderfoot. And then you pull your gun out and shoot him.
That's just it. I never could. I'd point the gun right at him and shoot, and I could never hit the guy. So I always got killed.
No one can hit him. It's a jet.
It scared the shit out of me.
Meagan tries to hide her smile.
Isn't that scary? I mean, for a kid.
Meagan laughs. Somebody shushes her.
Okay, smartass. What about you? What scared you most when you were a kid?
A dark mood falls over Meagan as her mind winds back.
I remember Lizzy wandered off one day and we couldn't find her. The police came and everything. I wasn't really worried until I saw her picture on TV. Then I got really scared. Jessie, I can't explain it, but I think something bad's gonna happen.
Dissolve to exterior special school afternoon. Lizzy sits on the steps of her school, clutching her books and her Raggedy Ann doll, waiting. Behind her, wearing a protective helmet, another learning disabled kid, Leonard, taunts her.
You're stupid.
No, you are.
They forgot you again.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they forgot you, and you're going to wait out here until it's dark, and then the monsters are going to come and get you.
Well, they won't, because I'm walking home.
Lizzy gets to her feet and starts walking. Leonard calls after her.
Come back, Lizzy. You can wait with me. I forgot to too, you know.
Lizzy keeps going, marching across the deserted schoolyard. Leonard turns to go inside the school when he bumps into a passing cultist. The cultist pushes him down as he follows after Lizzy.
Okay, I'm gonna have to report this.
Lizzy walks briskly along when she gets the feeling she's being followed. She turns to see a cultist standing behind a tree several dozen yards behind her. Lizzy turns away and quickens her pace, but when she glances back, the figure is still standing, but closer. Scared, Lizzy turns and runs, dropping her books as she flees down the sidewalk. As she comes to the street, a big black hearse suddenly pulls up in front of her, the door swinging wide open. Burned arms reach out to grab Lizzy. She screams. The cultists grab Lizzy, pulling her into the car as it roars off down the street. Close on Raggedy Ann, lying in the gutter. Cut to exterior Meagan's house afternoon. Jessie's car pulls up to a sea of police cars parked in front of Meagan's house. Meagan gets out of the car and rushes inside. Interior Meagan's house continues action. Cops are everywhere as Meagan bursts into the house, calling for her family. Jessie enters behind her when Meagan's dad comes up asking,
Didn't you get my message?
What message?
I called the school after lunch. I had to stay late after work. I
Megan's mother bellows in from the living room where she is talking to a policeman taking notes. She is drunk and has been crying.
Don't you dare blame this on her, you sorry bastard. It's all your fault. Where have you been anyway?
The library.
A likely goddamn story.
Megan's mom breaks down sobbing.
Dad? What's wrong? What happened? Where's Lizzy?
She didn't come home from school today. The police got a report that a girl fitting Lizzie's description was forced into a car by some crazies. They're pretty sure it was this Freddy cult.
Oh my God.
Megan's dad puts his arms around Megan and tries to comfort her.
Now, don't worry. At least they're going to do everything they can.
Megan looks over and sees Murdoch talking to his men when a voice from upstairs calls down.
Hey, Captain, better have a look up here.
Interior Lizzie's room next second. As Murdoch enters, he spots Lizzie's night table and the small glass menagerie there. Murdoch picks up the unicorn and admires it when the trooper draws his attention to the floor next to the bed. Lying there are several childlike drawings of Freddy, including the one that has "Freddy Lives" scrawled across the top. Megan enters and sees the drawings. She gasps.
Looks like she was in the cult all along.
No, she wouldn't do that. Lizzy wouldn't join Freddy's cult.
I know it's hard to believe, miss, but a lot of good kids get caught up in this kind of trouble.
Murdoch stares at the drawings, his jaw muscles tightening. He clenches his fist, pulverizing the little unicorn.
Punk.
Murdoch drops the broken pieces of the unicorn on the table as he exits the room, rushing past Megan. Interior Megan's house. Moments later, Megan's dad follows Murdoch to the door, asking,
Captain Murdoch, is there anything we can do?
You can pray, sir. Pray we find your daughter before it's too late. But rest assured, I can't persuade her to come back to her loving home. Then I'll do what's best for her. I know you and your wife wouldn't want her to suffer. Come on. I want to go talk to Erwin.
Murdoch and his men say goodbye and quickly exit. Exterior Megan's house. Moments later. As the last of the cops drive away, Megan pulls Jesse out of the house.
Where are we going?
Over to Stormie's.
Stormie? I thought you and her weren't friends anymore since she stole that $20 from you.
That was her klepto phase. When she started dating that gang member, she dumped him a long time ago.
I still don't understand. What has she got to do with Lizzy missing?
She used to be in the Freddy cult. Maybe they know where they took Lizzy.
They exit to Jesse's car. Cut to interior Stormie's room. Afternoon. Megan's high-strung best friend, Stormie, is blurting out a mile a minute.
If I did know, I would call the police. You know that. I love Lizzy. No telling what those freaks will do to her. Those Freddy cult guys are hardcore.
What? I thought you were in the cult.
I was in the cult for a week because my boyfriend at the time, Slasher, he was. But I just liked the music and the clothes when they were clean, but not like the violence and stuff. That was just my cult phase, but I got past that. You know, just like my gang phase when I was dating Ramon. And then before that was my death rock phase when I was dating Stuart.
Excuse me, but what phase are we in now?
Militant feminist man-hating phase? What's it fucking to you?
Why don't you just let the cops find her? That guy, Renton Murdoch, he knows how to deal with these cultist psychos. He was the man who got Jason Voorhees.
That guy in my dreams.
Jason kicked his ass.
Quick cut to exterior Camp Crystal Lake some years ago, night. Jesse narrates a short, fuzzy, silent flashback as a younger-looking Renton Murdoch is blasting away at Jason in panic.
Well, yeah, but Murdoch put 13 bullets in Jason before he hacked his head open.
Jason cleaves Murdoch's head with a machete. Murdoch staggers back, raising his pistol.
But even with his head hacked open and his brains leaking out, Murdoch still managed to put his last bullet in Jason's eye.
Murdoch fires, the bullet smacking Jason in the eye. Thick blood runs down the hockey mask as Murdoch's body hits the ground. Interior hospital room. Murdoch lays in bed, his head covered in bandages, tubes and hoses running everywhere to all sorts of medical contraptions.
Well, one of my mom's boyfriends worked at the hospital where they took him. He said that Murdoch lost more than half his brain, and what little that was left was all twisted up inside. And they had to replace his skull with a metal plate to keep that from leaking out.
In a series of quick cuts, we move in close on Murdoch's eyes, dark and menacing, staring out at us.
They say he hasn't been the same since.
Cut back to interior Stormie's room. Continuous action.
So what's different about him?
One thing. He used to be a Democrat, now he votes straight Republican.
I think he thinks Lizzy joined the cult or something.
Oh my God, he'll kill her.
I've got to find Lizzy myself. I've got to find her and save her from Freddy before the crazy cop kills her.
Just where are you going to look? I mean, these cult guys could be holding her anywhere.
Murdoch said something about going to talk to somebody named Erwin.
Erwin Kelper. He used to be in the Freddy cult. I bet he knows where they took Lizzy.
Well, not Squirmin' Erwin. That freak that used to eat bugs?
Who else? Erwin is scary smart, always brought home A's, but he was kind of fucked up too. I mean, who isn't really? Anyway, he quit the cult a few months back, and the cops put him away for his own safety. They say Freddy's put a death hex on Erwin.
A death hex?
Yes, a death hex, you know, where someone wants you dead.
Where is he?
Exterior Springwood Mental Center afternoon. Jesse, Meagan, and Stormie pull past a large sign and into a parking lot. As Jesse puts the car in park, Meagan turns to him and says,
I want you to stay here.
Why?
Don't be mad. It's just that you might scare him.
Scare him?
What she's subtly trying to tell you is that this needs a woman's gentle touch, butthead.
Just stay here, okay?
Jesse grudgingly agrees. Meagan kisses Jesse on the cheek. Stormie sticks her tongue out at him, then turns as she and Meagan walk toward the main entrance. Interior Springwood Mental Center, moments later. The cries of the insane echo through the building as the security guard escorts Meagan and Stormie down a row of cell doors. He stops at one, tapping lightly on the glass.
Yo, Erwin, you got a couple of visitors now. Be a good boy. Okay, you got 5 minutes. I'll be right down the hall if you need me.
The guard exits. Meagan and Stormie peer through the thick window. Erwin's padded cell appears vacant. They exchange anxious looks. Then Meagan presses a little closer to the glass.
Erwin?
Splat! Erwin suddenly presses his horribly burned face to the glass as he screams.
Show me your arms. Show me your arms.
Meagan and Stormie jump back, startled. They quickly bare their arms, turning them over for Erwin's inspection.
Where do you shoot?
Shoot?
He's talking about dream dope, the stuff that cultists shoot up with so they can talk to Freddy.
I don't do drugs.
You're not in the cult?
No.
Didn't Freddy send you to kill me?
No.
I don't trust you. You better take off your clothes so I can check you for tracks.
Chill, Erwin. We're here for some hard data, not a floppy disk.
Erwin flops his arms of a straitjacket, gesturing to the inside of his cell, empty except for a small mattress.
Well, what do you want? Can't you see I'm busy?
Freddy's cult kidnapped my sister.
I told her you might know where they took her.
I already told the cops everything I know.
Tell me, please.
Look, I'm sorry about your sister, but I've got my own problems with Freddy. I'm a marked man, you know?
Then tell me why they took her.
To bear his child, Freddy wants to be a human again. In order to do that, he has to be reborn.
How can he do that?
He has to marry a virgin on holy ground, then the cult consummate the marriage by impregnating her. Bees.
The whole cult? Ugh.
Freddy, the son of a hundred maniacs, is sort of a tradition with him.
So the cult gets Lizzy pregnant?
And Freddy enters the soul of the fetus through a dream state, Viola rebirth.
There is a moment as the girls take this in. Then,
That's the stupidest shit I ever heard.
Hey, they're not my rules. Somebody else wrote them.
Erwin, you've got to help me find Lizzy. You're my only hope.
Erwin thinks about this for a second. Then,
Episode 4. I'll help you find your sister, but you've got to help me.
Anything, just name it.
You have to help me kill Freddy.
Meagan and Stormie exchange looks.
But Freddy's dead.
Freddy lives, if only in our dreams.
Stormie grabs Meagan by the arm and starts to pull her away.
Come on, Meagan, our 5 minutes is up. He's giving me the creeps.
But Meagan stays put and asks Erwin,
Can you kill a dream?
When it's not a dream, do we have a deal?
Erwin presses his palm against the glass. Meagan thinks a moment, then puts her hand against the glass over his.
Deal.
Cut to exterior street corner afternoon a short time later. Meagan, Jesse, and Stormie are standing in front of a payphone arguing.
No, I won't do it.
Come on, Jesse, please.
It's illegal. I could go to jail.
How will they ever know? Don't be such a pussy.
Oh, yeah? Why don't you call then?
Okay, I will.
No, they'll never believe her.
I can disguise my voice. Hello, how do you do? My name is Jesse. I think I'm a man, but I'm actually a woman.
They'll never believe that. Come on, Jesse. For me.
Okay, I'll do it. I'm not a wimp.
Jesse sighs and steps into the phone booth. After a moment's hesitation, Jesse steps out and immediately both girls blurt out 10 reasons why he should make the call. Jesse calls for quiet, and as soon as both girls shut up, he says,
I need a quarter for the phone.
Meagan fishes out a quarter and hands it to him. Jesse re-enters the booth. This background is really loud right now. There we go. Meagan fishes out a quarter and hands it to him. Jesse re-enters the booth. Angle in phone booth as Jesse dials a number. Interior Springwood mental center. Security guard picks up his phone as it rings.
Springwood Mental Center, how can I help you?
There's a bomb planted in your building.
Who is this?
If I were you, I'd get my ass out of there.
In the background, we hear Meagan and Stormie whisper something to Jesse.
Oh yeah, Freddy lives.
Click. The guard's eyes grow wide. Exterior Springwood Mental Center. Afternoon, seconds later. The peaceful quiet of the asylum is shattered by a fire alarm. Soon all the inmates start filing out into the yard, loosely herded by the guards. Erwin files out with the others, still wearing his straitjacket. Erwin looks over to the parking lot. Jesse's car flashes its lights. Erwin starts to casually wander off towards the fence between himself and freedom when a security guard spots him and says,
Erwin, where do you think you're going?
Erwin ignores him, still moving towards the fence.
I'm talking to you, asshole.
Erwin breaks into a run. The guard takes off after him. In the car, Jesse, Meagan, and Stormie watch as the guard closes the distance.
He's not gonna make it.
We've got to do something.
With grim determination, Jesse starts his car. Jesse's car tears out of the parking lot, racing for the fence. With a loud metallic chink, Jesse's car drives into the fence, knocking that section down. Erwin dances over the down chain link, diving into the open window. Then, with a squeal of tires and the rending of metal, Jesse's car backs out of the fence, does a 180, and peels off. Angle inside the car, Stormie and Meagan help Erwin out of his straitjacket. Once freed, Erwin extends his hand to Jesse.
Hi, my name's Erwin. Thanks for busting me out of there.
Jesse looks at Erwin's outstretched hand. The fingertips are all heavily bandaged.
Yeah, right. Look, Erwin, just do me one favor. Don't eat nothing disgusting. My stomach is tight enough as it is right now.
The security guard runs up to the fence, huffing and puffing, watching as Jesse's car disappears down the street. Then he spots something in the fence and plucks it out. Jesse's front license plate. Cut to interior abandoned boiler room, dusk. Close on Lizzy, screaming and crying as the cultists close in around her. They rip her sleeve off and inject her with a syringe. After a moment, Lizzy starts to settle down, falling asleep. The cultists lift Lizzy up over their heads and carry her towards the big boiler. Inside, a raging inferno. Lizzy's dream state, point of view. As the cultists reach the boiler, it splits open in the middle like a giant gate. The two halves swing open wide to reveal interior hell, night, continuous action. A narrow rocky ledge extends into a mausoleum atop a tall, narrow mountain. On either side of the ledge is a sheer drop to the bleak landscape below. Rivers of hot molten lava stretching out for miles, filled with lost souls drowning and burning. Hundreds upon hundreds of voices are screaming and moaning, a terrible chorus of the damned. The cultists carry Lizzy across the rocky ledge to the mausoleum. The outside of this ancient structure is engraved with weird murals depicting the evils of mankind. In the center, a large iron gate that swings open as the cultists near. The cultists roll Lizzy over in their arms, holding her tight as they push her face forward into the mirror. The glass gives way like mercury, Lizzy's face disappearing into the mirror. Angle on the other side, underwater. Lizzy's face stares out into utter blackness. Then, something large and evil-looking swims out from the darkness. Clawed hands reach out and grab Lizzy by the sides of her face as the huge, monstrous head moves forward. Evil lips parting, tongue slithering out. The evil thing gives Lizzy a big, wet French kiss, locking its lips over hers. Several slippery something slither into her mouth. Lizzy struggles, but the big evil thing is just way too strong. Finally, it releases her and the cultists pull her back out. The cultists carry Lizzy out of hell and back into the abandoned boiler room. Continuous action. Horribly burned hands slap Lizzy's back from semi-conscious state. Her eyes grow wide with fear again as she opens her mouth to scream. Suddenly, she doubles over and vomits up into a Tupperware the cultists thrust under her. 3 evil-looking eels slither forth from Lizzy's mouth, the dream demons. Exterior old power plant, dusk. Several shadows flee into the night as Jesse's car pulls up next to a rundown building. Interior abandoned boiler room, moments later. Erwin leads Meagan, Jesse, and Stormie down to the old burnt-out boiler room. They work their way towards the back to a large table and a collection of sofas and an easy chair scattered about. Erwin starts sniffing around, pointing out several used syringes laying scattered about the floor.
Damn. We must have just missed them.
Meagan spots Lizzy's shirt sleeve on the floor.
Oh my God. She was here. This is part of Lizzy's shirt. It's all torn. Erwin, we've got to find her.
Oh, we're too late. There's no way except
What?
we could go after Freddy.
How?
Erwin goes to the boiler, bends down, and reaches way up underneath. After fishing around for a moment, he draws out a well-worn Mutant Ninja Turtles lunchbox. Inside, a vial of liquid, several syringes, and several pairs of Colt shades.
We'll inject ourselves with dream dope. It's a mild narcotic that brings on a dream-like state.
Meagan thinks about this for a moment, then nods her approval.
All right, let's do it.
Meagan, we don't do drugs. I mean, what if one of us gets hooked or something? We could turn out like him.
Jesse jerks a thumb towards Erwin.
Ecstasy? Don't worry about it. We need you wide awake anyway.
What for?
We're going to go under and try to find Freddy. When we do, we'll grab him and bring him here. Then you kill him with this.
Erwin hands Jesse an old, rusty revolver.
This rusty chunk of shit? What good is this?
It's not the gun. It's silver bullets blessed by a priest.
Will that work?
Should, but then again, hasn't been tested.
You don't make the rules. Yeah.
What should we do?
Have a seat over there and make yourselves comfortable. Roll up your sleeves and put these on.
Erwin hands Meagan and Stormie each a pair of the sunglasses with flashing red diodes in each lens. Stormie puts hers on immediately and says,
Oh, cool.
What are they for?
It's how the cult keeps in constant contact with Freddy. The little lights flashing are a sustained ocular input that puts your brain to resonate in approximately the same frequency at which the dream state is mostly likely to occur.
All of this went over Megan's head. Stormie shrugs.
Whatever. Put them on. They're really cool.
Meagan and Stormie sit in the easy chairs, rolling up their sleeves. Erwin comes over and reclines the chairs, giving each girl an injection. Then Erwin takes a seat next to Meagan and injects himself. He lets the syringe drop to the floor and he lowers his glasses.
It helps to hold hands if you want to go together.
Meagan clasps hands with Erwin and Stormie. Jessie watches with skepticism and concern. Erwin ushers a final warning.
And remember, Freddy knows what scares you.
Then all three fall through their chairs into the interior dreamscape. Continuous action. Meagan, Stormie, and Erwin falling through the dream space. Fantastic digital effect tunnel. Still holding hands. The girls scream as Erwin smiles and yells.
What a rush, huh? Whoo!
Interior abandoned boiler room. Same time. Jessie watches over Meagan, Stormie, and Erwin, all asleep in their chairs. Interior nightmare boiler room. Next moment. Meagan, Stormie, and Erwin fall into a crazy nightmare boiler room, visually reminiscent of the Freddy pictures, with rusty catwalks, huge out-of-proportion fixtures above, and a sea of boiling water below. As they get to their feet, Meagan hears Lizzy's voice.
Meagan, help me.
Meagan enters a shaft, followed by the sound when suddenly the shaft closes up behind her. Stormie and Erwin try to find the opening again, but can't.
Freddy's trying to split us up.
Interior abandoned boiler room, same time. Jessie is standing in front of an old, full-length mirror, practicing drawing the pistol. He pulls it and pretends to fire, blowing imaginary smoke from the muzzle as he says,
Okay, Freddy, there's a new sheriff in Dreamland now.
Interior nightmare boiler room, next moment. Stormie and Erwin make their way through the creepy boiler room, calling for Meagan. A strange shadow stalks them. It's Freddy. He drops down in front of Erwin and Stormie.
Looking for somebody.
Freddy opens up his shirt to reveal a chest full of lost souls. In the center, Meagan. Stormie charges Freddy, throwing her arms around him as she screams to Erwin.
I've got him. Wake us up. Wake us up.
But Erwin is paralyzed with fear.
Don't just stand there. Wake us up.
I feel like seafood tonight.
Suddenly, Stormie's arms have become huge lobster claws. She jerks away from Freddy, but too late. Stormie starts to change into a giant lobster woman. Freddy smiles. Now he's wearing a chef's hat and an apron.
Stew on this, bitch.
Freddy knocks a lobster woman over to the side. She falls into the boiling water far below. Splash! Hard cut to interior abandoned boiler room. Next instant, Stormie wakes with a start, yelling.
Shoot him! Shoot him!
Jessie spins, aiming the pistol, but nothing is there. Interior nightmare boiler room, same time. Freddy turns towards Erwin.
Well, well, well. If it isn't my old pal, Erwin.
Erwin stares wide-eyed, frozen to the spot.
I've got something special in mind for you.
Suddenly, Erwin reaches into his sleeve and pulls out a pin. Freddy gawks, surprised. Erwin pricks his finger. Hard cut to interior abandoned boiler room. Next instant, Erwin wakes with a start. Stormie smacks him.
You didn't help me, you pussy. I could have had him. Gutless, spineless jellyfish.
Jessie looks over to where Meagan is still sleeping. Interior Elm Street, day, dream. Meagan comes down the sidewalk, still following Lizzy's voice.
Meagan.
It leads her to her house. Meagan enters the front door. Interior Meagan's house, continuous action. Meagan sees her father is sitting on the kitchen table reading his paper. The headline reads, Freddy lives.
Daddy?
He looks up and quietly shushes her.
Hush! I'm trying to be invisible right now.
And with that, Megan's dad disappears. Only the newspaper remains. Then Meagan hears Lizzy's voice again, upstairs. As she comes down the upstairs hallway, Meagan passes her mother's room. The doors open a crack. Meagan looks in and sees her mother's putting an empty bottle to her lips. The bottle sucks the life out of Megan's mom, who shrivels up into an ugly, old prune face. Meagan starts to help her mother when Lizzy's cry for help draws her to interior Lizzy's room. Continuous action. Meagan enters. She sees Lizzy on the bed under the covers. Lizzy.
Megan.
Megan pulls back the covers to reveal that Lizzy is pregnant. Her naked, swollen stomach protruding from her nightgown. Something inside is trying to push its way out. Lizzy screams. Megan moves to help her sister when Freddy's glove bursts out of Lizzy's stomach, stabbing Megan in the chest. Hard cut to interior abandoned boiler room. Continuous action. Megan wakes up suddenly. She looks over at Stormie, Erwin, and Jesse standing over her.
Are you okay?
They help Megan to her feet.
He got away. I had him and he got away. Oh, God, Lizzy. I lost her.
Well, at least you're not dead.
No, I'm not dead. No, I'm not. But Freddy killed me.
Killed me too, but look.
Stormie raises her shirt up to show Megan she's unharmed. Erwin sneaks a look and Stormie smacks him. Megan gets to her feet, asking,
Now that I think about it, he's killed me in all my nightmares. But I'm not dead. What does that mean?
It means we've still got some time left until his remains are host to that dream demons. Freddy can't hurt us.
Hello, dream demons?
Freddy made a pact with Satan when he died, so Satan bestowed upon him the dream demons. They're the source of Freddy's power to manipulate our physical reality. He's not in a bad dream. Hey, like I said, I don't make the rules.
We still got a chance, right? A chance to kill Freddy before he gets back his power?
I already tried that. There's no way for us to kill Freddy. He's too clever. He knows how to get to us.
Then let's get somebody else. Somebody strong.
Yeah, we could hire somebody to kill Freddy, like a hitman.
You would have to hire 1,000 of them, or one really big guy who isn't afraid of anything. No fear, nada. Then you got a shot.
Where are you going to find a hitman? The yellow pages? In your dreams?
Jesse's last three words strike Megan like little thunderbolt, and she stammers out a name.
Jason!
Jason?
Jason Voorhees!
Jason Voorhees, that's brilliant. The perfect dream warrior. No fear.
Sounds like our man.
Excuse me, Einstein, but isn't Jason Voorhees dead?
I know how to bring him back to life.
Somehow I just knew you would.
But that's not the problem. The problem is control. Once we bring Jason back from the dead, I'm not 100% sure he'll do what we tell him.
Well, that's okay, as long as he doesn't chop us all up.
Erwin rolls his eyes around, uncertain.
Erwin, I'm trusting you on this. So tell me the truth. Do you think if we do this, if we go and get Jason and bring him back to life, that he could kill Freddy?
No doubt about it. Jason could wreck Freddy on this side of the dream line, but if Freddy has home court advantage, I don't know. Too close to call. The trick would be to get Jason to enter a dream state, grab Freddy, and drag him out to our reality.
I haven't got a choice. I've got to try something. I can't ask either of you to help me do this. It's illegal, immoral, and simply disgusting.
Hey, we sisters have to stand together, right? Where you lead, I'll follow. Count me in.
Meagan embraces Stormie, then all three turn to Jesse. He looks them over and sighs.
Let me get this straight. We're going to dig up one dead maniac to fight another dead maniac.
That's about the size of it, and I'd be doing you a disservice if I said there weren't a modicum of risk involved.
Meagan, I don't want to do this.
You don't have to, Jesse. It's not your fight. I understand.
But I damn sure don't want you to do it without me. So count me in.
Meagan hugs Jesse. Erwin tries to hug Stormie, but she pushes him away.
Look out, Freddy. Here we come.
Exterior Springwood Auto Yard night. In his shack, listening to a small portable radio, is the night watchman. His small dog suddenly perks up his ears and growls low. The watchman turns down the radio.
What's the matter, girl? You hear something?
Then the old man hears it too, a low rumble, moving closer. The night watchman steps out of his shack and squints into the darkness when a line of several hearses approaches. The lead hearse pulls up to the shack and the driver's window rolls down.
What is this, funeral procession?
A Freddy cultist sticks his face out of the window and says, "That's exactly what it is.
Yeah? Whose?
Yours." Bang! The cultist shoots the old man right through the head. The night watchman falls to the ground with a lifeless thud. The little dog starts barking ferociously when another shot silences her as well. Another cultist leaps out of the hearse and runs to the gate, cutting the chain with a pair of bolt cutters. He swings the gate open and the funeral procession proceeds inside. Interior Springwood Auto Yard, a short time later. The cultists are standing around a small pit that two cultists are carefully excavating in the center of the wrecking yard. Inside the pit, the uncovered remains of Freddy Krueger, nothing more than a pile of charred bones. Lizzy is brought forward, held by a couple of cultists, and injected with dream dope as the needle is passed around. She no longer struggles, accepting her fate with droopy eyes. Lizzy's dream dope point of view. As she watches one of the cultists reach down and put a rusty funnel into Freddy's broken jawbone. Her vision gets blurry, more surreal as another cult member steps forward with Tupperware. He pours the dream demons into the funnel. Close on Freddy's remains as the dream demons swim around inside his skull. His bones start to bleed, blood becoming arteries and veins, vessels becoming muscle, muscle growing into scarred flesh. There's a flash from the pit, then suddenly Freddy Krueger, as you've known him, as you've loved him, leaps out of the pit and cries.
Smoking.
Lizzy rolls her eyes and faints. The cultists fire their weapons into the air and cheer as the building-high stacks of wrecked cars surrounding them honk their horns and flash their lights. Dissolve 2, exterior highway night. Headlights as Jesse's car zooms past a sign that reads, Crystal Lake, 13 miles.
We're almost there.
We should pull over and ask for directions.
If it doesn't offend the men, oops, sorry, there aren't any.
Very funny.
Exterior gas station night. Jesse pulls the car into an old rundown service station.
I don't think they're open.
It says open all night.
Jesse honks the horn and yells.
Hey, can we get some service out here?
I don't think there's anybody here.
Suddenly, a crazy old Coot appears on the opposite side with a shotgun. Everyone in the car jumps.
What do you kids want?
We're looking for the old cemetery that's supposed to be around here.
What do you want to know for?
We want to see it.
Ain't nothing to see here, girly, except a bunch of old graves.
Look, mister, can you just give us directions or not?
The old man gives the occupants of the car a going over with his one good eye, hesitating a moment over Erwin, who scrunches down in the back seat, hiding under a baseball cap.
You're not going up there to do something stupid, are you?
Stupid, like what?
Like dig up Jason Voorhees? That's what.
Everyone in the car takes a sharp breath, cold busted. Then they start saying, no, no, shaking their heads innocently in a big performance that wouldn't fool a stick.
Jesus, why would anyone do that?
I don't know, but people do.
Been dug up a few times already, has he?
More times than I care to remember.
Well, we're just doing an article for our high school newspaper about the dangers of breaking into cemeteries at night. You know, stuff that can get you hurt.
The old Coot scans the foursome again closely as he acquiesces.
Well, okay, as long as you're not going up there to do something stupid. Take this road up about a mile and make a left to the old sawmill. That road will take you right on it. Eternal Peace Cemetery. Can't miss it.
Jesse is already standing on the gas, leaving the old Coot standing in a cloud of smoke and dust. Exterior, Eternal Peace Cemetery night. Headlights skew across the rusty iron gateway. Eternal Peace Cemetery, illuminating a sign, trespassers will be shot. Meagan, Jesse, Stormie, and Erwin enter the shadowy cemetery carrying lamps with shovels over their shoulders. As they search the cemetery, Meagan asks,
What's the story on Jason Voorhees anyway?
Where have you been? Jason was that guy who ran around in a hockey mask, chopping up camp counselors. Duh.
I knew that. What I mean was, why?
Started a long time ago, back in the 50s. When Jason drowned at Camp Crystal Lake, his mother went berserk and started killing the counselors.
She got her head chopped off by one of the girls she was trying to kill.
Right, and then Jason came back from his watery grave to get revenge.
He came back from the grave?
Yeah, chopped up a number of people before they finally caught up to him.
What happened to him then?
They killed him.
How can you kill somebody who's back from the grave?
Not very well, apparently. Jason keeps coming back to life and chopping people up. It's a never-ending cycle of terror up here at Crystal Lake. Real problem.
Why does he keep coming back to life and killing people?
They say he's looking for revenge on the camp counselor who murdered him as a child. Jason just happens to go about it in the socially unacceptable way of hacking through every teenager he finds until he gets the right one. Ah, here it is.
Erwin shines his light on Jason's grave. Angle on tombstone, Jason Voorhees, born 1945, died 1953. Beneath the death date, crudely scratched into the stone, 1981, 1982, 1984, 1985, 1986, 1988, etc. Jesse and Erwin start digging. Ellipses, cemetery statues watching them dig. Stormie and Meagan take their turn. Then, Jesse hits something solid. Hands brush away the remaining dirt, exposing the coffin below. Jesse takes a sharp breath and then jams a crowbar under the lid, forcing it open. The casket lid cracks open a bit when noxious gas escapes. Everyone covers their mouth and nose, suppressing the urge to hurl. Then roaches, hundreds of roaches. Meagan and Stormie run off screaming, batting at their hair and clothing. Jesse rolls around on the ground. Erwin sighs, plucks a roach off his shirt, and calmly eats it. Exterior, Eternal Peace Cemetery, a short time later. Meagan and Stormie stand just outside the grave, holding the light and a can of bug spray. Their hair is up, covered in plastic shower caps, duct tape around the cuffs of their pants. They aren't taking any more chances with bugs. Jesse and Erwin open the casket. Everyone recoils at the stench. Then they shine their lights inside. Nothing but rotting chunks and a broken hockey mask. Cut 2. The kids putting several plastic trash bags full of Jason into the trunk of Jesse's car and slamming the lid closed. Everyone piles into the car exhausted. In the back, Erwin picks his nose, unaware that Stormie is watching him, her mouth gaping in horror. Erwin becomes aware of Stormie's sickened scrutiny and pulls out his finger, presenting it to Stormie.
Look, the Boogerman. Get it?
Stormie slaps his hand away.
Get back, you nasty ass bastard. Ugh. I thought I'd seen the last of those when my brother graduated 3rd grade.
We just dug up a rotting corpse and you're worried about a little snot.
Jesse looks over at Meagan, curled up in a ball beside him. She purrs.
I'm exhausted. Wake me up when we get back home.
Better not fall asleep. We've still got a lot of work to do, and Freddy's out there waiting.
The snooze sobers everyone up immediately.
Stormie.
The snooze sobers everyone up immediately.
Are we recording?
Yes.
Oh, there we are.
Yes.
That means we've all got to. That means we've all got to stay awake.
Duh.
I know. We'll sing a song. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Come on, everyone.
Meagan leads the none too enthusiastic group in another chorus of Row Your Boat as Jesse's car roars off into the night. Dissolved to exterior lonely road night. Meagan is leaning up against the door, murmuring softly to herself as she drifts off to sleep.
Merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream.
In the back seat, Erwin is nuzzled between Stormie's breasts, sucking his thumb. Both are fast asleep. Jesse stares at the road ahead, his own eyelids drooping. The car starts to weave. Angle out windshield, we flash past Freddy, holding up a cardboard sign by the side of the road. We'll kill for food. Jesse shakes his head. Nah. He tries to concentrate on the road, his eyelids falling once more. Jesse's car zooms past a billboard. Behind the billboard, a highway patrol car, a radar gun sticking out of the driver's window. Close on radar gun, as Jesse's car passes the background, the red digits cascading up. Freddy, now dressed as a highway patrolman, sits behind the wheel. The radar gun's display is reflected in his mirrored shades. It reads, "Kill them."
Shouldn't dream and drive.
Freddy starts the car and pulls out, but what comes out from behind the billboard isn't a patrol car. It's Freddy's nightmare mobile, big chrome pipes belching hellfire. Angle in Jesse's rearview mirror as Jesse's eyelids close and his head nods forward, revealing past the nightmare mobile, closing from behind fast. The nightmare mobile runs up the back of Jesse's car just an inch from the bumper. Freddy moves one of the dozen of the levers on the dash. Close on Freddy's hood ornament, a small version of Freddy's glove. It extends out towards the back of Jesse's car, one of the tiny knives inserting into the trunk lock and turning with a slight click. The trunk lid opens. Angle inside trunk. The plastic bags with Jason's remains are moving. Freddy works another level and the tiny glove slits each bag. The various pieces of Jason, hood, hands, boots, intestines, etc. crawl out of the bag.
Looks like the cat's out of the bag now.
Freddy laughs as the tiny hand closes the trunk. The nightmare mobile pulls from behind Jesse's car, banging into the rear quarter panel. Wham! All four occupants of the car are jolted awake, startled. Meagan looks out her window and sees the nightmare mobile as it closes in again.
It's Freddy.
Wham! Sparks fly. Everyone screams. Freddy laughs as he falls back for another shot. Meagan sees the dozen of lost souls trapped in the back of the nightmare mobile, staring out at her through the back window. A small yellow sign reads, "Lost souls on board?" Jesse fights to keep the car on the road when suddenly the pieces of Jason attack, bursting from behind the back seat. One hand crawls up the back of the front seat, leaping into Jesse's throat. Jason's intestines explode out of the back seat, slithering and snaking their way around Stormie and Erwin. One of Jason's boots wiggles under the seat, making its way towards the gas pedal. The other boot is content to lay under the back window and kick Erwin in the head. As Meagan fights to pull Jason's hand off Jesse's face, she looks down and sees Jason's other hand between her legs. Meagan screams. Jason stomps on the gas, and Jesse's car lurches forward with the acceleration. The nightmare mobile slams into the side of Jesse's car again, causing it to swerve violently from side to side. Inside the nightmare mobile, Freddy pulls another lever. Close on the nightmare mobile fender as a panel opens up and a circular saw blade arm extends out. cutting into Jesse's car with a flurry of sparks. Inside, Meagan screams as the saw blade just misses her leg, cutting forward. Towards. Close on Jesse's front tire, as the saw blade cuts into it, the tire blows, Jesse's car lurches off the road, veering into a tree line. Crash! Jesse's car plows fender first into a tree, the horn stuck on, blaring. Freddy laughs and kicks the Nightmare Mobile into overdrive, roaring off and disappearing with an explosion of fire that wisps away in an instant. In the distance, an old farmhouse. The lights go on inside. The passenger door opens and Meagan falls out of the ground, bleeding from the slight scalp wound. A rear door opens and Stormie and Erwin spill out, locked in embrace and not seriously hurt. Meagan staggers around the driver's side and opens the door. Jesse is laying unconscious against the steering wheel. Meagan pulls him off the wheel with the horn, and the horn stops. Jesse is splattered with blood and his leg is a mess.
Jesse's hurt real bad. We gotta get him to a doctor.
Through the farmhouse window, Erwin and Stormie see the farmer on the phone.
Don't worry, an ambulance is on the way.
Meagan cradles Jesse's head in her hands, crying.
Oh God. Jesse.
Erwin goes to the trunk and opens it. Inside, the garbage bags with Jason's remains still inside, untouched. Erwin goes to Meagan and says,
Meagan, listen to me. The cops are on their way. If they find me and Jason Voorhees in the trunk, there we're finished.
Oh, get out here. Take Jason and Stormie with you.
I'm staying with you.
Erwin grabs the trash bags out of the trunk and says,
I'll call you at the hospital.
How?
Somehow.
Erwin takes off, disappearing with Jason's remains into the night as sirens wail in the distance. Growing close. Cut to interior hospital, Jesse's room, night. Jesse is laying in a hospital bed, his leg in a special tent. Meagan and Stormie watch from the doorway as a doctor checks Jesse's vitals. As he finishes, Meagan asks,
Is he gonna be okay?
Yes, but he needs a lot of rest. His leg is broken in 4 places, and he has 4 broken ribs and a concussion.
Meagan sits down next to Jesse, taking his hand. Stormie turns to the doctor.
Hey, Doc, is there someplace I could get us something to eat?
I'm afraid the cafeteria is closed. There are some vending machines in the lobby. I'll be back to check on him in a couple hours.
The doctor exits.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get a score of some munchies.
Meagan nods weakly. Stormie exits. Meagan lays her head on Jesse's hand. Interior hospital lobby moments later. Stormie is getting several bags of munchies out of the vending machine when she turns and sees Murdoch at the information booth, flashing photos of Jesse and Erwin. Stormie dashes for the staircase. Interior hospital, Jesse's room, same time. Jesse and Meagan have fallen asleep. Jesse's heart monitor beeps. On the wall, an X-ray viewer flickers to life. Freddy peeks out from behind the other side. He stickers and ducks back down. Suddenly, Freddy's hand reaches up from inside the bed and grabs Jesse, pulling him down into the mattress. Meagan wakes up and sees this, screaming as Jesse grabs into the curtain. Close in the curtain rod, as the curtain pulls free of the rings, Jesse disappears into the bed, his screams echoing away. Meagan looks under the bed. Nothing. She rises up again, watching as Jesse's IV and electrode wires pulled down after him. Meagan grabs a handful of tubes and wire and tries to pull Jesse back. But the pull is too strong and Meagan goes into the mattress. Interior Old West Saloon, nightmare, continuous action. Meagan falls to the floor of a dusty old saloon. As she gets to her feet and she sees Jesse's IV tubes running along the floor and out the door. Meagan follows them to the saloon door where she stops and looks out into exterior Old West Street, nightmare, continuous action. Standing in the middle of the street is Jesse, dressed in a cowboy sheriff's complete outfit with hat, badge, and gun belt. Meagan calls to him from the saloon door.
Jesse!
But Jesse can't hear her. He's too busy shaking with fear, staring at something coming down the street. It's Freddy, dressed in a black Bart cowboy outfit.
Okay, Sheriff. This nightmare ain't big enough for the 2 of us. Draw!
Trembling with fear, Jesse fumbles for his pistol. He pulls it out and fires. Freddy laughs. Jesse fires again. Freddy just laughs. Again and again and again, and Freddy just laughs and laughs and laughs. From the saloon, Meagan screams,
Jesse, wake up! Wake up!
Freddy looks over at her, annoyed.
Three's a crowd, bitch. Why don't you just go get...
Beep! Interior hospital, Jesse's room. Continuous action. The sound of Jesse's heart monitor beeping erratically wakes Meagan with a start. She tries to wake Jesse.
Jesse, wake up! Wake up!
Interior Old West Street, nightmare, same time. Jesse keeps firing at Freddy until his gun clicks empty. Freddy smiles and pulls out the biggest goddamn gun you ever saw and says,
Go ahead. Make my dream.
Freddy fires. Hard cut to interior hospital, Jesse's room next instant. Jesse's stomach explodes with blood, splattering Meagan. Jesse's heart monitor beeps continuously. Flatline. Jesse is dead. A nurse shows up to answer the alarm. She sees Meagan standing over Jesse's body covered in blood and screams. Stormie enters the room half second later and gasps.
Freddy killed Jesse.
Stormie reaches in and grabs Meagan, pulling her out of the room. Interior hospital hallway, continuous action. Stormie drags a shell-shocked Meagan down the hall and the screams of the nurse fading into the distance.
Jesus, get a grip, lady. You'd think a nurse in a hospital would have seen a dead body before.
Jesse.
Just then, Stormie spots Murdoch and his men getting off the elevator. They hear the nurse's screams and come running toward Jesse's room. Stormie pulls Meagan behind the nurse's station just as Murdoch and company go thundering past. Then a voice on the PA says,
Attention. Would Meagan or Stormie please pick up the white paging phone for a message?
Stormie and Meagan exchange worrisome looks. The announcement repeats itself again. Then again. Stormie can't stand it anymore. She stands up and picks up the white paging phone.
This is Stormie.
Murdoch and his men come running past the nurse's station again. Stormie turns her back to them, but Murdoch goes back to the nurse's station, asking,
Did you see a couple of girls go by here a moment ago?
Stormie gestures to the elevators.
Just missed him.
Murdoch nods a quick thanks and takes off with his men right behind. Stormie exhales a giant sigh of relief as the hospital operator says,
The message is from Erwin. He says to meet him at the side entrance in 2 minutes.
Stormie hangs up and grabs Meagan, running for the staircase. Exterior hospital night, moments later. Stormie drags Meagan out of the hospital just as Erwin pulls up in an old battered pickup truck. He throws open the door and Stormie pushes Meagan inside, climbing in after her, asking,
Where'd you get the truck?
Same place I've got Jason hid.
And where's that?
A place where no one ever goes.
Stormie closes the door and the pickup truck roars out of the parking lot. Cut to exterior Camp Crystal Lake night. The pickup truck's headlights skew across the weather-worn sign peppered with bullet holes. Camp Crystal Lake. Erwin drives the truck through the deserted camp, past the cabins, down towards the lake. He stops a short distance away from the pier and the three of them climb out. Meagan is still in shock, letting Stormie guide her as Erwin leads them down the pier to a small diving platform tied up to the end.
What did you do? Take him for a swim?
Almost.
Erwin jumps down on the diving platform. In the center, a large form is covered by a tarp. Erwin helps Stormie down to the platform, leaving Meagan standing on the pier. She looks out over the lake, eyes vacant. Erwin moves close to Stormie and, gesturing to Meagan, asks,
Is she going to be all right?
I don't know. She's pretty fucked up. God, I don't know why I'm not.
You're a strong woman.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing. I didn't mean anything.
Stormie gestures to the tarp.
Is this him?
Yeah. Meet the new and improved Jason.
Angle and Jason lying spread eagle on the diving platform, cocooned in chicken wire with dozens of coiled leads trailing off into the water. Erwin has done a good job of sewing Jason back together with his barbed wire and fishing line. His arms and legs have been reinforced with steel braces, and even Jason's mask has been repaired, stitched down to the middle with baling wire. Jason looks 90s and butch.
Why did you put that stupid mask on him?
Take a look.
Stormie bends down and takes a peek under the mask and quickly replaces it.
Ugh, good idea.
Not exactly a beauty queen entry, is he?
So what do we do now? Sing an Ozzy Osbourne song backwards or something?
I'm afraid it's not that simple.
I thought you said you knew how to bring him back to life.
I do, but when I was putting them back together, I noticed something was missing.
Stormie thinks about this for a second, then
He won't be needing that. I mean, what girl would let him put his rotten old...
No, not that. It's his heart. It's missing.
Well, does it really matter? Can't you use an aquarium pump or something?
No, he has to have a heart, a human heart, a good one.
Meagan speaks for the first time.
Know where we can get a heart? A good one.
Cut to exterior morgue parking lot night. A sign reads City Morgue. Through the front window, a guard can be seen sitting at the reception desk. Erwin, Stormie, and Meagan watch him from the pickup, parked a safe distance away.
That guard in there might pose a problem.
Do you think you and Stormie could keep him occupied for a few minutes?
Erwin and Stormie exchange looks, then shrug. Why not?
Okay. Let's do it.
A few moments later, the guard looks up as the pickup swerves wildly into the parking lot. He gets up and goes to the glass door, peering out. Angle through glass door as Stormie and Erwin start making out, hot and heavy. Interior morgue night. Meagan breaks a small window near the ceiling. She crawls into the top of the cabinet and then drops to the floor. She shines her flashlight all around the dark laboratory, illuminating anatomy charts, jars full of organs, etc. Crossing to the lockers, Meagan tentatively opens one of the drawers and shines her light inside. Ugh, wrong guy. She opens up the next drawer. Ugh, even worse. Meagan opens up a third drawer. Jesse. Her lip starts to quiver as she caresses his face. Exterior morgue parking lot, same time. At the glass door, the guard is watching the action in the parking lot, his breath fogging the window. He wipes the glass clean with a sleeve to get a better look. Inside the truck, Stormie and Erwin wrestle around.
Hey, watch it.
I'm just trying to make it look real.
Just keep your hands above the bra, pizza face.
The windows are starting to steam up. Interior morgue, same time. Meagan pulls on a lab coat and pulls out a pair of rubber gloves. Then she opens a drawer full of shiny instruments, saws, rib cutters, etc., and selects a large knife. Meagan stands over Jesse's body. She pulls back the sheet, exposing his chest. Meagan raises the knife far above her head.
Forgive me, Jesse.
Meagan plunges the knife into Jesse's chest with a sickening thwack. Exterior morgue parking lot, same time. The windows of the pickup are now badly fogged, obscuring the guard's view. He licks his lips, deciding to investigate closer. The guard unlocks the front door and starts towards Stormie and Erwin. They spot him coming and break their embrace. In another moment, the pickup is peeling out of the parking lot. The guard watches the truck go, shakes his head, and goes back inside to start his rounds. Up the street, parked with the lights off in the night shade of a large tree, Stormie and Erwin watch as the guard starts down toward the glass-enclosed hallway towards the morgue.
He's headed right for her. Do something.
Erwin panics for a moment, then honks the horn. Interior morgue, next moment. Meagan is trying to pull Jesse's heart out of his chest, but it just won't come. Some veins or muscle fiber keeps pulling it back. She jumps at the horn and then starts pulling harder. In the hallway just outside, the guard hears the horn and stops. He starts back for the front when suddenly the horn stops. Meagan hacks the last bits of stringy goo that cling to Jesse's heart. As the last strand goes, Meagan tumbles backwards to the floor with a loud thud. The guard hears that and turns toward the morgue, drawing his gun. He tiptoes to the door and carefully unlocks it, leaving his key in the lock. Taking a two-handed weaver stance, the guard raises his foot and kicks the door. Whack! The door flies open and the guard leaps inside like Marshal Dillon, snapping on the lights. He gasps, eyes going wide as he scans the room. One of the drawers is open. The stiff's chest has got a huge hole in it, blood spattered everywhere, a bunch of bloody footprints leading over to the cabinet. Suddenly, the guard sees Meagan half out the window and cries,
"Stop right there."
Meagan rolls out of the window just as the guard fires. The unbroken section of the window shatters. The guard curses and races for the exterior morgue seconds later. The guard comes running out just in time to see Meagan close the passenger door and the truck roar away. He shrinks, dejected. No way to catch them now. The guard heads back inside to report this mess and finds that the door is closed and locked behind him. Cut 2. Exterior Eternal Peace Cemetery, night. The crazy old Coot is leading Murdoch through the cemetery.
They said they were writing for some newspaper.
Teenagers are notorious liars.
Well, after I heard about the accident on my police scanner, I came up here to have a look. When I found, I figured out you'd want to know right away.
You did the right thing.
The old Coot shines his light down into Jason's empty grave.
Damn kids, I just knew they were coming up here to do something stupid.
The SWAT commander comes up to Murdoch.
Just got a call on the radio. 3 juveniles just broke into the morgue. 1 male, 2 female. The guard's pretty sure the male is in the Freddy call. Burnt face.
Sounds like the same kids I saw.
The guards say what they took?
Yeah, that murdered kid Jesse, they carved his heart out. They got away in a pickup. The guard didn't get the license. You want me to put on APB?
No, that won't be necessary. I know just where they're going and just what they're up to. And this time, I'll be ready.
Cut 2. Exterior Camp Crystal Lake, night. Meagan sits at the end of the pier watching silently as Erwin sews Jesse's heart into Jason's chest using dental floss. Stormie comes up behind her and puts her jacket around Megan's shoulders, sits down beside her, and says,
You've got to quit blaming yourself for what happened to Jesse. It wasn't your fault.
He didn't want to come with us, but he did anyway. He did it for me.
I'm not sorry I came. I don't think Jesse would be either.
I just can't believe he's dead. I keep thinking he'll show up any minute.
Well, that's just about does it.
Erwin finishes sewing up Jason and climbs back into the pier, cutting the diving platform free. He kicks it off and it floats out to the lake, drifting free. Then Erwin herds the girls down to shore, leading them over to where the short trench has been dug, leading from the water's edge. In the bottom of the trench, an uncovered power cable.
As you can see, I've excavated the power cable that runs across the bottom of Crystal Lake. I've cut away the insulation, exposing a patch of cable right near the water's edge.
Erwin picks up a nearby bucket of water and sets it at the end of the trench.
Now, when I kick this over, the water will wash down the trench and bridge an electrical gap between the cable and the lake. There's plenty of voltage, so it should work.
So you kick the bucket and Jason lives.
Yeah, right. Okay, keep your fingers crossed.
Erwin kicks the bucket over. The water washes down the trench, over the cable, and pow! Zap! A huge spark hits, explodes. Then the lake begins to glow and the water begins to churn. Erwin and the girls jump back as electricity arcs from the lake, engulfing the diving platform. The arcs of electricity leap from the chicken wire onto Jason's body, his massive frame convulsing. Close on Hockey Mask, as we push in, the electricity spirals down into the eye hole like water running down a drain. Close on Jason's eye as it opens. We dive into the eye and take a fantastic dream time travel to optical transition to exterior Voorhees cabin, 1953 day. Close on Mask, 1950s version of a hockey mask reflected in the water. A young hand reaches up and pulls off the mask, revealing the disfigured boy beneath. This is Jason, age 9. Jason's father comes to the doorway of the rundown cabin in dirty long johns, holding a bottle of rye. He bellows.
Jason, get your ass over here.
Jason jumps at his father's voice, hesitates only slightly, then runs toward him, stopping abruptly several paces away.
What did I teach you, boy? Don't ever take your mask off out in public. I don't want nobody to see that ugly mug of yours.
Jason stands looking at his bare feet. His father smacks him upside the head, shoving him toward the woodshed.
We in the woodshed.
Jason's pace slows as he enters the dark shed. He knows what's coming next.
You drop them overalls and lay over them logs.
Jason slowly complies as his father loosens his belt. Suddenly, Jason's mother is just outside the doorway, calling.
Jason, come here.
Jason gives his father a sideways glance, then scurries over towards his mother.
What you doing, woman?
Jason's mother gives him a mason jar stuffed with dollars and change.
I saved that. Oh, you're back.
it. Sorry. Oh no, I'm sorry. All right, can I go now?
We're gone.
Okay, cool. I saved up some money. I want you to take it and go up on that. There we go. I give up. Give up.
Saved up some money. I will need to take and go on up to that summer camp just up the road. Tell the man you want to stay there.
Just what the hell you think you're doing, bitch?
I'm sending him away for a few weeks.
You ain't sending him nowhere. You bring me that money, boy.
Jason holds his ground for a second, unsure whom to obey, when his mother shoos him away.
Go on now, go!
Jason takes off up the road. His father sneers.
Going against me? I'll take you to the shed, woman.
Jason's mother pulls a knife from her apron.
You ain't ever taken anyone to the shed ever again.
Jason's mother charges at her husband, shoving him back into the shed with a knife. Jason looks back. Through the open window, he sees his mother's arm coming down repeatedly with the knife, his father's arm flailing helplessly. They both disappear from view. After a moment, his mother appears at the doorway, spattered with blood. She smiles and waits to him, calling.
Go on, son. Have a good time. Mommy will come and get you someday soon.
Jason turns and runs to Exterior Camp Crystal Lake, 1953, day. Wearing his mask, Jason walks through the entrance to the camp with his jar of money. In the office, the head counselor takes his money and shakes his head.
Welcome aboard, son. I'm sure you have a great time.
Cut to the other kids dance around Jason, taunting him, laughing at him, pointing and teasing. Jason breaks away, running toward the pier. Jason sits at the end of the pier, looking at his own reflection. He removes the mask and watches as the distortions of the water make his face look normal. Someone comes up behind Jason slowly. Jason isn't aware of their presence until a shadowy reflection appears behind his own. Jason turns to see who it is when he is suddenly pushed into the lake. Jason splashes to the surface, sputtering, trying to stay afloat. A hand pushes his head back under the water. Jason's underwater point of view, a distorted image of whoever is holding him under. Jason thrusts at his arms, fighting to get back to the surface, fighting just to see who is killing him before he dies. Hard cut to Exterior Camp Crystal Lake, night. Jason comes alive, thrashing around on the diving dock, the electricity all over him like a spider web. On shore, Erwin and the girls gasp.
Holy shit, it worked.
Meagan and Stormie bounce excitedly, but something is wrong. Jason thrashes around on the dock, unable to break the crisscrosses of the high-voltage chicken wire.
It's killing him. Shut it off. Shut it off.
Cut it off. It suddenly occurs to me that I hadn't really planned for that contingency.
Well, just don't stand there. Do something.
But all Erwin can do is scratch his head. Meagan rushes to the shoreline and screams out over the lake.
Jason! Jason! You've got to get up! Do you hear me? Get up!
Jason clenches his meaty fists and slams them down against the diving dock, smashing it to bits. Water rushes over him and zzz, pow! The power transformer on shore explodes, causing Meagan and her friends to cringe. When they look back, the electrical light show fades away, leaving nothing but smoke and floating debris. Meagan and Stormie turn to Erwin, who shrugs shyly and says,
Well, it's off now.
Meagan and Stormie begin a verbal barrage that would shrink any man to a pus, much less Erwin. He cowers between them, offering quick excuses and humble apologies. All three are so wrapped up in laying blame that they never notice Jason's shadowy figure as it rises from the lake. Then they do see him, scream, and run. Jason charges after the kids in his familiar unstoppable killer gait. Erwin ducks inside the tool shed as Meagan and Stormie dash past. He closes the door behind him and squirms out a tiny window just as Jason kicks open the door and steps inside. Erwin races around the front and closes the door. He fastens the latch in the padlock and calls out to the girls.
Hey, come back. I've got him locked up in the tool shed.
Just then, the sound of a chainsaw as its blade rips through the tool shed door. Erwin screams like a girl and runs away. Interior main cabin, continuous action. Meagan and Stormie run into the main room. Stormie spots a phone and goes to it, dialing frantically.
Who are you calling?
The cops. Who else?
Are you kidding? They'll lock us up and throw away the key.
Fine by me. Damn it, it's dead.
Just then, Erwin bursts into the cabin, slamming the door shut behind him.
He's right behind me.
Stormie and Meagan look out a window. Sure enough, Jason is storming towards them, holding the chainsaw.
You're the one who brought him back to life.
And?
Well, do something.
Erwin screams and runs for the closet, hiding inside. Stormie clucks.
Oh, some hero.
Just then the chainsaw rips through the front door. Meagan and Stormie scream and follow Erwin inside the closet, closing themselves inside. They cower in the closet, listening for a long moment, nothing but the sound of their heavy breathing. Then with a ripping of wood, Jason chainsaws the closet door, knocking it to the floor. Erwin drags out his pin and starts stabbing himself in the finger. Jason charges forward when Meagan suddenly stands up in front of him and yells,
Stop!
To everyone's shock, Jason does.
Now, just stop. We're the ones that brought you back to life. And you have no right to kill us with your chainsaw. In fact, you owe us.
That's right. She gave you her boyfriend's heart, you know.
That's right.
Jason cocks his massive head like a perplexed pup.
Look, here's his picture.
Meagan takes off the necklace that Jesse gave her and opens the locket. She shows Jason the photo of Jesse inside. Jason drops the chainsaw and takes the locket in his humongous hands, gently touching the photo of Jesse with a meaty finger.
Now, I know that you've been through a lot. I know that you're pissed off about being murdered and all.
I know I would be.
But if you help us kill Freddy Krueger, I promise to help you find the little bastard that killed you. What do you say? Have we got a deal?
Meagan sticks out her hand to shake. Jason stares at it, looks back at the locket, then to Meagan. Finally, he reaches out his huge hand for Meagan's when brilliant, blinding white light blazes through the windows, freezing everyone to the spot. Anxious to get out of the closet with Jason, Erwin crawls across the floor and peeks out to the windowsill. Angle out window. A dozen police cars shine their lights toward the cabin. 24 cops aim their weapons. In the middle of this impressive show of force is Murdoch. He raises a bullhorn to his lips.
You in there. This is Captain Benton Murdoch, State Trooper. I'm ordering you to come out with your hands up. To the count of 3.
Meagan turns to Jason, shoving him back in the closet.
Jason, you have to hide. Stay in here. And don't come out until we tell you. Stormie, help me.
Stormie helps Meagan stuff Jason in the closet, closing the door. Then they quickly smooth down their hair and clothes, moving toward the door. Exterior Camp Crystal Lake, next second. Meagan, Stormie, and Erwin come out with their hands raised high above their heads. As they walk towards the police cars, several of the SWAT team moves in and arrests them. As they are handcuffed and searched, Murdoch goes on the bullhorn again.
All right. Anybody else left in there better say their prayers.
There's no one else inside.
That's a fact. Okay. You had your chance.
Suddenly, one of the cops points towards the cabin and shouts,
Hey, look!
All heads turn towards the cabin where Jason's massive frame is filling the doorway.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, would you look at the size of that guy?
I knew it.
All the cops level their weapons at Jason when Murdoch suddenly steps forward, gesturing for everyone to get behind him.
Stand back. I'll handle this.
Murdoch takes a few steps toward the cabin and sneers. Jason raises the chainsaw. He remembers Murdoch too. Murdoch goes for his gun, but instead of bringing out a pistol, he holds a laser designator. Murdoch fires. A big red dot appears on Jason's chest. Jason looks down at it like it was a harmless bug. He looks back up at Murdoch, who raises the radio to his lips and says,
Let her go.
Exterior, 60,000 feet above Crystal Lake, next second. A military jet flying above drops its payload, a laser-guided napalm bomb. Exterior, Camp Crystal Lake, same time. The slight whistle sound grows in the skies above Camp Crystal Lake. Jason looks up. Smart bomb POV as it drops down on Jason, honing in its laser dot on his chest. But boom! Camp Crystal Lake explodes in flames. All the cops take cover as the fire rains down on them. Only Murdoch stands his ground, his arms outstretched as he embraces the terrible sight.
That'll teach you to fuck with the law, Voorhees.
Cop behind him says,
Sir, your hat's on fire.
Murdoch looks up. Sure enough, his Smokey Bear hat is burning above the rim. Meagan watches as Camp Crystal Lake is consumed in flames, her last hope of saving Lizzy, gone. Then a cop shoves her into a police car with Stormie. Erwin is put into another car and the three exchange worrisome looks through the windows just before the cars pull away. As the cops start to pull out, one of them notices something moving amidst the flames. A large, burning form walking towards the lake. As it stumbles out to the pier, the cop turns to his partner and says,
Hey, do you see that?
But just then the form falls through the burning pier, splashing into the water below. The partner looks, sees nothing, and shrugs.
See what?
Thought I saw something.
He shrugs it off and exits after his partner. Murdoch, his hat still smoking a little, surveys the site one more time before climbing into his patrol car and driving away. Cut to interior police station, cell block, night. A cell door slams in front of Stormie's face. A cell door slams in front of Meagan's face. Both girls are behind bars, separated by a cement wall. The hefty female deputy in charge of the cell block goes back to her desk. Both girls standing in their cells next to each other, watching as the deputy goes back to her desk and begins to devour 3 combo burritos.
We've got to try and stay awake.
Getting something to eat might help. Yo, Butch!
It's Deputy Miller.
Excuse me, Deputy Miller, but could we have something to eat?
I thought you psychos only ate human hearts.
And I thought you pigs only ate donuts.
Don't make me come back there.
Cow. I hope she chokes on her 3 combo burrito cud.
Meagan leans up against the wall, sliding down to the floor in defeat.
What am I gonna do? I'll never be able to find Lizzy now.
You should be worrying about yourself. I know I am.
Stormie plops down on her cot.
I bet you're sorry you came with me now.
Nah, what are best friends for? After all, you stuck by me through all my crazy phases. I figure I owe you one big crazy phase, right?
That's for being my best friend, Stormie.
Just then, Deputy Miller steps in front of Meagan's cell, unlocking it.
Come on, Meagan.
Where are we going?
Your parents are here.
Cut to interior police station night, moments later. Deputy Miller brings Meagan out of the cell block where her mom and dad are waiting with Captain Murdoch. Meagan's mom rushes up and hugs Meagan.
Meagan, are you all right? Let me look at you.
I'm okay, Mom.
Your mother's been worried sick, Meagan. So have I.
Meagan stands handcuffed, her hair mussed, her clothes bloody and soiled.
Sorry. Today's been a bitch.
Interior cell block, same time. The deputy is so busy munching down on her burritos that she doesn't notice the strange shadow that passes behind her. The shadow moves down the cell block, accompanied by a slight scraping. Freddy's glove materializes, raking the knives along the metal crossbars. Freddy stops at Stormie's cell, looking inside. Stormie is fast asleep. Freddy walks into Stormie's cell, passing right through the bars. Suddenly, Stormie wakes up and seeing Freddy jumps to her feet and screams.
Help! Help! Freddy's here! He's here!
But the deputy at the end of the cell block doesn't respond, finishing off the rest of the burrito and licking her meaty fingers clean. Freddy puts his forefinger knife to his lips and shushes Stormie, pointing to her cot. Stormie looks over and sees herself asleep.
Oh, shit! I'm still asleep.
She looks up at Freddy, who smiles and says,
You know what they say? When you sleep, you die.
Freddy flashes the glove of knives. Interior police station next moment.
Meagan, Captain Murdoch here said you helped one of those cultists escape from a hospital.
Mental hospital.
And he said you desecrated a cemetery and some other really terrible things. Tell me you had nothing to do with it. Tell me there's some mistake.
There's no mistake. What did you do, Erwin? What did you do with Erwin?
Your boyfriend is headed back to the loony bin where he belongs. Don't worry, you'll be seeing him soon enough at the arraignment.
Interior cell block, same time. Freddy taunts Stormie as they circle around in the cell by slicing off his fingers, squirting green slime. Stormie winces a little, but keeps her distance and cool.
You don't scare me, Freddy. Thanks to my various phases and many hours of watching violent television, I've become immune to violence. Seen it all and done it all. Nothing you do can gross me out, so why don't you give it your best shot, bitch?
Then maybe I'll just cut to the chase.
Freddy swings the glove, but Stormie ducks, keeping her defensive stance.
I'm warning you, Freddy. My father is a drill sergeant in the Marine Corps, and he taught me just how to defend myself against slimy bastards like you.
Oh, I'm scared, honey. Come on, hit me. Punch me right in the nose. I dare you.
Freddy juts out his chin, gesturing for Stormie to take a punch. Stormie throws a right and pops Freddy right in the nose. Stormie smiles, but that soon fades as she realizes her fist is stuck in Freddy's nose. Freddy takes a breath, and Stormie's arm is sucked up past the elbow. She screams. Freddy takes a deep breath and snorts Stormie's right up his nose. Her screams turning into a faint buzz. Freddy smiles.
Now that's what I call getting a buzz.
Interior Freddy's nostril cavern next second. Now the size of a flea, Stormie is clinging to one of the hundreds of pointed tree trunks jutting out from the circular walls. Freddy's nose hairs. Stuck in those humongous hairs are clumps of icky gunk, boogers. Sitting next to Stormie, a particularly large and rotund booger clump opens its eyes and says in the distorted voice of Harry Manfredi,
Hi there. I'm the Boogerman. Get it?
Stormie screams, backing up into the trees, trying to put distance between herself and Boogerman.
Oh, don't go. We can play Star Wars. You can be Princess Leia. I'll be Jabba the Hutt.
Boogerman licks his fat, nasty lips with a slimy cream tongue. He does kind of look like Jabba. Stormie screams again. Interior police station, same time. Meagan is getting more and more agitated.
We're wasting time. We've got to close in all the churches. Freddy has to marry Lizzy on holy ground.
Megan's parents stare at their daughter, with confused, frightened looks.
Don't you understand? He has to come to our reality to do it. It's our last chance to kill him.
Okay, I think we've heard enough of this crap. Take her back to the lockup.
A couple of deputies grab Meagan. She throws them off and they grab her again roughly. Megan's parents watch in pain and horror as the deputies drag their daughter back to her cell, kicking and screaming.
Dad, Mom, don't let them lock me up. I have to save Lizzy.
Oh, Meagan, you're sick. You don't even realize what you've done.
I did what I had to do to try and save Lizzy.
Yeah, including murdering your boyfriend and cutting his heart out.
Liar! Freddy killed Jesse. He was already dead when I cut his heart out.
Megan's mom and dad gasped, recoiling with horror.
God damn it! You don't understand! Freddy lives! Freddy lives!
Megan's raving grows faint as she disappears into the cell block. Murdoch pulls Megan's dad aside.
I know how you must feel. I had a dog once. I loved that dog. Treated her like my own daughter. We went camping. Picnics in the park. I even had a little stocking for her nailed up on the mantle for Christmas. Then one day, she bit me. So I had to blow her brains out. God, I love that dog.
Interior Stormie's cell and nostril cavern, same time. Freddy starts to dig in his nose with his forefinger knife. A giant knife blade comes charging up the nostril cavern, sending Stormie into hysterics.
Oh, Freddy's picking his nose again. I gotta go.
Boogerman starts lumbering up to the back of the nostril cavern. Stormie watches the massive knife blade as it comes right for her. Then at the last possible second, she starts climbing after Boogerman. She pushes past the disgusting blob of goo racing ahead.
Well, excuse me.
Insert Freddy pushes the knife way far back into his head. The giant knife spears Boogerman in the back, running him through and spilling his Boogerman guts out his front. Stormie gives a little squeal as Boogerman is pulled out, kicking and screaming. Freddy withdraws the knife from his nose, peering closely at the tiny Boogerman impaled on the end. He twists his mouth in utter disdain and flicks Boogerman across the cell. Boogerman screams as he flies across the vast space, smacking into the far wall with a giant splat. Boogerman flattens outwards to the thin pancake of Boogerman goo, his nasty head still alive in the center. Freddy reaches to the bars of the cell, his arm is extending out in a grotesque fashion all the way to the deputy's desk. He feels around on the table until he touches the pepper shaker, drawing it back to Stormie's cell. Freddy sprinkles a small amount of pepper into his right palm and breathes it in deeply, the specks of pepper becoming rocks that pelt Stormie as she clings to life deep inside the nostril. Freddy's face begins to distort, his nose wrinkling up and the beginnings of a sneeze. Micro Stormie comes blasting out of Freddy's nose with globules of snot. She flies across a massive cell, headed directly for the splattered Boogerman, screaming her head off. Boogerman sees Stormie racing toward him, and he screams too. Hard cut to the Superior Police Station, cell block, next instant. As the deputy brings Meagan back to her cell, they hear a loud splat.
Stormie?
The deputy pushes Meagan back as she moves forward cautiously, glancing around the wall into Stormie's cell, then promptly puking combo burrito. Meagan runs up and looks. The wall to Stormie's cell is splattered with blood and bits. Meagan falls to her knees, sobbing as more deputies come running into the cell block, answering the deputy's puke-soaked screams.
Oh, God. What have I done? What have I done?
We boom out of this chaos and go to exterior Lonely Road night. An ambulance races along the road with its emergency lights flashing. In back, Erwin lays strapped to a gurney. Up front sits the driver and attendant. They chat disparagingly about the freak in the back when suddenly a large form appears in the road just ahead. The driver slams on the brakes and the wheels lock up with a terrible squeal. Boom! The ambulance plows into the form, knocking it some 50 feet down the road. The driver and the attendant stare out of the cracked windshield in shock. Finally, the driver turns to the attendant and says,
I'll go check it out. You stay here.
The driver gets out and goes to the form laying in the road. He bends down to examine the charred mammoth carcass when a fist flies up, smacking the driver in the face. He falls to the ground, unconscious. The corpse sits up in the glare of the headlights. It's Jason, burnt and blackened, but ready for action. He starts toward the ambulance. The attendant gets out and pulls his service revolver, emptying it into Jason's chest. Jason recoils only slightly as bullet hits burst his cover off. Then he grabs the attendant by the head and he snaps the empty pistol in panic. Jason slams the attendant's face into the side of the ambulance. In the back of the ambulance, a terror-stricken Erwin watches the face-shaped dent appear on the wall with a sickening, wrenching metal and flesh. Then silence. Rip! Jason pulls off the back door of the ambulance and climbs inside. The shock's bottoming out under his weight. He reaches out for Erwin, who closes his eyes, waiting for the inevitable. Then, nothing. After a second, Erwin opens his eyes. Jason is standing over him, hand outstretched. In his big, burnt palm, Meagan's necklace. Erwin looks from the necklace to Jason. Jason thrusts out his hand impatiently.
You want me to tell you where Meagan is?
Again with the thrusting.
Well, why didn't you say so? Jesus, for a minute there, I thought you were going to kill me. You're not, are you?
Jason shakes his palm at Erwin yet a third time.
Okay, I'll take you right to her. Could you help me out of this?
Jason reaches over and yanks out the gurney straps. Erwin exits out the back with Jason following close behind. Erwin climbs into the wheel, saying,
I'll drive.
Jason pushes Erwin aside so roughly that he slams into the passenger side door.
Okay, you drive.
As Jason climbs into the driver's seat, a chime goes off as a female computer voice in a pleasant tone says,
Fasten your safety belts, please.
Erwin fastens his. Jason watches him and pulls the safety belt across his massive chest. It won't reach. Jason pulls harder, ripping the belt out by the bolts. The chime goes crazy.
Fasten your safety belt, please. Fasten your safety belt, please.
Jason smashes the dashboard with his fist, silencing the voice and chime. He turns suddenly to Erwin as if to say, "Yeah, what about it?" Erwin shrugs nervously.
Fuck the bitch. Let's roll.
With Tyler squealing, burning rubber and smoke, the ambulance roars away into the early morning. Dissolved to exterior police station cell block dawn. Meagan stirs through the bars of her cell at the sun as it peeks up over the horizon. The deputy gets up to leave for the 6 a.m. shift change. As she goes, she switches on the cell block TV. Angle on TV, an early morning religious program is on.
This is Channel 12, station WGOD, where the W stands for worship. And now, Daily Affirmation with Reverend Lawrence Lovejoy.
A shot of the Reverend Lovejoy at the podium in his studio, giving kind words of encouragement.
Good evening, friends. The good book says that each morning brings a new light into our lives.
The good Reverend goes on about it, always being the darkest before dawn, have faith in your prayers will be answered, etc. Meagan turns and watches the sunrise. Glorious. Tears stream down her cheeks. Then a commercial comes on.
You can own a videotape of Reverend Lovejoy's Daily Affirmation for only $19.95.
Cut to exterior religious TV station. Morning. In his booth in the main gate, the gate guard watches as a procession of hearses approaches. As the first hearse reaches the gate, the guard steps out and says,
Hello. What can I do for you?
A cultist sticks his head out the window and says, "We're here to see the Reverend Lovejoy. We need him to perform a wedding."
Mm-hmm. Do you have an appointment?
No, I have a Beretta.
Okay.
Cultist produces a pistol. Bang. Interior studio moments later. The Reverend Lovejoy at his podium, his wife over the organ, waiting for the commercial break to be over. The floor manager counts down. 3, 2, 1. Bam! The cultist bursts into the studio. The camera operator and the floor manager are killed. The Reverend Lovejoy and his wife at the organ are taken hostage. Interior police station, cell block, same time. Angle on TV as the cultists take the Reverend and his wife hostage. Meagan watches, suddenly perplexed. Interior studio, next second. The cultists break into the control room, killing the director and staff. One slips into the sound booth, garroting the religious announcer with a piece of wire. Another smashes the control board, killing the signal. All the feed monitors go snowing. Interior cell block, same time. Angle on TV as the picture goes to static. Just then, the deputy appears in front of Meagan's cell.
Something just happened at the TV station.
Don't worry about it. Get undressed.
What for?
Time to get you cleaned up for the court.
Meagan looks back at the TV as she slowly starts to get undressed. Interior police station showers moments later. The deputy ushers Meagan into the showers. Inside, a naked group of mean, nasty, ugly jailhouse bitches are showering, washing hairy pits, flabby tattooed skin, and greasy hair. They eye Meagan like a dessert bar at Denny's as she crosses the opposite side, sneaking into a corner. Meagan turns on the shower and drops the towel. The bitches whistle and catcall. Just then, the deputy gets called away, leaving Meagan to the mercy of the bitches. The head bitch slides over to Meagan and says,
What's the matter, huh? You don't like our company, huh?
I like you. Sure. It's just that I usually shower alone, that's all.
Oh, so you're shy. I like them when they're shy.
The head bitch grabs at Meagan, who resists. But this bitch is big and tough and holds Meagan by the wrists as she tries to kiss her. The other bitches laugh.
Don't fight it, baby. You know you want me.
Meagan scratches the head bitch's face. She backs off screaming, wiping blood from her face. Then she spits, reaches down below the frame line, and produces a shiv.
If you won't give me a piece, then I'll just cut one from myself.
The head bitch moves in. Meagan takes a cautious step back, bumping into tile. Nowhere to go. She holds up her hands.
Wait a second. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. It's just that you come on a little strong, that's all. Just give me a little time to adjust to my new surroundings.
The head bitch stops, curious.
Are you saying you want me now?
Yes. I want you.
Prove it.
Meagan comes up to the woman, raising her arms. In a flash, the head bitch has a shiv to Megan's jugular, a warning. Meagan carefully puts her arm around the bitch and kisses her full on the mouth. After a long, uncomfortable moment, they break. The head bitch smiles.
Now that's more like it. Hey, this bitch is all right, yo.
The other bitches smile as the head bitch slips her arm around Megan's waist and pulls her tight.
You okay, honey? What's your name?
Meagan.
So, what are you in for, Meagan?
My friend.
That bitch died last night.
Yeah. They said that she had some disease in her made her explode. Oh God, please hold me.
The head bitch holds Megan tight as she sobs, soothing her hair. The other bitches share a look of concern as one asks,
Wait, what's this bullshit about some killer fuck make you explode?
Easy, honey. It's gonna be all right. But when I asked you is why you're in here.
Oh, well, the cops, well, they think I gave it to her.
The head bitch suddenly springs back as if Megan were Satan himself. She runs for the other bitches, but they aren't having anything to do with her. All the bitches race for the exit. The deputy comes to the shower room doorway and shouts,
What the hell is all the screaming about?
wham! The bitches run her over, stripping the keys from her belt. They unlock the cell block door and go running into the police station, screaming, butt naked. After the bitches exit, Megan's hand reaches out and drags the unconscious deputy into the shower. Interior police station next second. The bitches come running butt naked and screaming through the station. Several deputies chase after them, tackle them, and try to cuff them. A brawl ensues. Chaos. Murdoch sits on a desk, reading a report. He looks up at the madness and mutters.
Punks.
Interior police station showers moments later. A deputy enters the showers and sees a naked woman on top of a deputy, their arms locked in a struggle. The deputy cracks the naked woman in the back of the head with her baton, and she falls to the side, revealing Meagan, now dressed in the deputy's uniform, lying on the shower floor. The deputy realizes her mistake too late. Meagan sprays her in the face with a mace, and she sinks to her knees, screaming and clutching her face. Meagan leaps to her feet, grabs a towel to hold over her face as if she had a broken nose, and starts to exit. On her way out, Meagan is passed by several deputies charging into the showers to restore order. She gestures them on, then slips into an emergency exit to freedom. Exterior police station continuous action. Meagan exits the station just as the patrol car pulls up. She reaches in and grabs the junior trooper, pulling him out. Then she slips behind the wheel and roars off. The junior trooper calls after her.
Hey, that's Captain Murdoch's car.
Interior studio, same time. The cultists surround Reverend Lovejoy as he nervously shakes his head, saying,
I won't do it. It's a sin, blasphemy.
One of the cultists puts a gun to Mrs. Lovejoy's head. Wedding or funeral, your choice. The Reverend swallows and said,
And who would be the bride?
Lizzy is brought forth. The cultists take her arm and inject her with the dream dope. Lizzy's head lolls around as she chants softly.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
The rest of the cultists shoot up, passing the needle from one to the other.
3, 4, better lock your door.
The good Reverend watches this with a lump in his throat. He shudders and asks,
And the groom?
He's coming. Lizzy is almost asleep.
6, grab your crucifix.
The neon cross behind the podium begins to flicker. Then with a sharp snap of electricity, the cross falls over, turning upside down. It hangs there for an instant. Then pow! The cross explodes, catching the curtain on fire. As the flames consume the curtains, a hole in reality appears, a dream gate. Freddy comes springing out, leaping in front of the podium. He laughs and turns to Lizzy, asleep on the bench.
Thanks for the lift, sister. Hiya, kids.
Hiya, Freddy.
Ready to get hitched?
Ready, Freddy.
Then let's do it.
Lizzy looks up and smiles.
I love you, Freddy.
Cut to Interior Police Station, afternoon. A deputy comes to Murdoch and says,
We found your patrol car, Captain. It was abandoned near a local religious station.
Religious station. Is there a padre there?
Yes, sir. Reverend Lovejoy broadcasts out of that location.
So that's where they're hiding.
Cut to Interior Studio, same time. Lizzy and Freddy stand before Reverend Lovejoy.
And if there be anyone among you who has any reason why these two should not be joined in holy
Freddy holds up a finger.
in matrimony, let them speak now. Please, God. Or forever hold their peace.
Wham! Meagan bursts in.
Stop!
Everyone turns and looks at Meagan as Meagan comes to the pulpit.
Take me, Freddy. Take me instead.
You're a virgin?
Oh, that's right. Tell everybody.
Freddy moves close to Meagan, running a blade over around Meagan's neck as she struggles to remain calm.
Yes, you are a bit juicier than your sister. Okay, you've got the job. Get her ready.
Exterior religious TV station night. Outside, the cultists surrounding the outside of the station watch as dozens of police vehicles swarm to the fence. Murdoch and the SWAT commander get out of the lead car. Murdoch picks up his bullhorn and says,
This is Captain Renton Murdoch, State Trooper. I'm giving you until the count of 3 to come out with your hands up.
A cultist sniper fires a shot at Murdoch, the bullet smashing the emergency lights atop the car. The other cops duck down, but not Murdoch. He turns calmly to the SWAT commander and says,
Hand me that flare pistol.
The commander gives a flare gun to Murdoch, adding,
Good idea. Throw a little light on them. See if we can spot their firing positions.
As the commander speaks, Murdoch aims a pistol carefully and fires. Boom! The flare streaks to the roof of the TV station, smacking the sniper. He bursts into flames and tumbles to the ground, screaming. Murdoch hands the flare gun back to the commander, going back to the bullhorn, saying,
All right, now I'm through playing nice guy. I want the rest of you punks to come out right now with your hands up.
The cultists respond by filling up the air with hot lead. Bullet hits riddle the cop cars, smashing glass and piercing metal. The cops fire back, bullet hits exploding all along the sides of the TV station. Interior studio, next moment. The cultists spare Meagan's arm and inject her with dream dope. She takes her place at the threshold beside Freddy. Exterior religious TV station, same time. As the battle outside between the cultists and the cops rage, Murdoch and the SWAT commander squat down behind the fender to reload.
Well, it doesn't look like they're going to surrender.
We're going to need then somebody to charge their lines and make a hole for us to slip in.
Where are you going to find anyone that crazy?
Just then, an ambulance comes roaring through the police lines, causing the cops to scurry like mice.
Here comes one now. Go get him, son.
Murdoch squints to see who's driving. It's Jason. Erwin smiles and waves to Murdoch through the passenger side window as the ambulance zooms past. Murdoch curses, drawing his pistol and shooting after the ambulance. The other cops joined in a moment later. Bullet hits sparking off the back of the ambulance as it crashes through the front gate. Inside the ambulance, Erwin hazards a glance back at the cops, then turns to Jason and says,
That wasn't easy enough. That was easy enough.
Erwin looks ahead and screams. Angle through windshield as 3 cultists stand directly in front of the speeding ambulance, firing machine guns. The glass explodes just as Erwin ducks down. 2 cultists suddenly scatter as Jason rams the ambulance into the middle one just before plowing to the side of the station with a crash. Erwin pushes down his airbag just in time to see a cultist closing in with a gun. He reaches through the smashed windshield and grabs the squashed cultist's machine gun laying on the hood. Erwin turns, shoots the cultist just in time. As Jason kicks open the driver's side door, he's greeted by 2 cultists shooting at him. Jason rips off the driver's side door and hurls it at the 2 punks, knocking them down like bowling pins. Then Jason reaches back to the ambulance, pulls out the jaws of life, and with Erwin covering his back, starts towards the front door. Interior studio, same time. The wedding proceeds.
Once again, if there be anyone among you who does not want these 2 people to be joined, let him speak now or forever hold his peace.
Meagan looks around. No one says anything. Then the Reverend clears his throat to continue when, wham, studio door flies open and Jason appears in the doorway holding the jaws of life.
Uh-oh.
The cultists attack Jason. Jason grabs the first one with the jaws of life, folds him in half like a rag doll. Another attacks with a machete. Bad idea. One more cultist down, and now Jason owns the machete. Jason finishes off the last 2 cultists as Erwin barricades the studio door. The cultists on the other side start pounding. Jason starts swinging at Freddy with the machete, slicing through the camera cable, close on cable as it falls to the floor. Freddy jumps back to the dream gate, closing it behind him. Erwin runs over to Meagan and Lizzy. He tries to wake them, but can't. As Jason lumbers over, Erwin looks up and says,
I can't wake them. Freddy's got them trapped.
Erwin thinks for a moment, then rushes over to a couple of dead cultists. He takes their syringes. Erwin jabs Jason in the neck with 2 syringes full of dream dope. Jason staggers forward, falling into interior nightmare arena continuous action. Jason falls into a boxing arena. The ropes are in entrails, and atop each corner post is a mounted human head. The spectators are all demons, monsters, and the living dead. Jason looks over at his opponent, dressed in boxing shorts, shoes, and gloves. It's Freddy. Jason raises his arms and finds he, too, is wearing boxing gloves. Ted Bundy steps into the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fight of the century. I'm your wing announcer, Ted Bundy.
Bang! A bullet hole appears in Ted's forehead, blowing his brains out the back. He falls over dead, and the crowd cheers. Ted sits up and pulls the wig back over his shaved head, and electric burns as he calls out to the balcony.
Very funny, Oswald.
Angle and balcony. Oswald stands, his rifle still smoking.
It wasn't me.
Ted Bundy gets to his feet and finishes the intro.
In my left corner, weighing in at only 97 pounds, the Nightmare Master himself, the one, the only, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy holds up his arms, and the crowd goes wild.
And on my right, weighing in at a whopping 413 pounds, my God, the killer of countless teenagers, the big guy, Jason Voorhees.
Cheers and boos.
And the prize tonight, not 1, but 2, count 'em, 2 virgins, ripe for the picking.
Ted gestures to a large cage suspended over the arena. Inside, Meagan and Lizzy clutch each other.
Hey, have one now and save the other for the ride home. That's what I did.
Laughter from the crowd.
Kick his ass, Jason.
Ding! The bell sounds. The first round begins. Freddy starts toward Jason, cocking him with his glove for a blow when cha-ching! Knife blades jut out of the glove. He punches Jason in the stomach and starts ripping him open, rotten guts spilling out. Jason spots a cocktail waitress walking past with an axe in her head. This is Bloody Mary. Jason reaches over the side of the ring and pulls the axe out of her head. Bloody Mary whips around, yelling.
Hey!
Jason swings with the axe. Shwick! Jason slices off Freddy's arm. The crowd roars. Freddy looks down at the open armpit, gushing with rotten blood, and shrugs.
Oh well, I just asked for that.
Freddy grows a new arm, complete with claws and knives. Jason throws the axe at Freddy, who ducks it. The axe flies into the audience, smacking Mussolini square between the eyes. He falls back to the floor. Hitler turns to Eva Braun and says disdainfully,
Peasants.
Ding! The bell sounds. Freddy and Jason break, going into the respective corners. As Jason sits down in his corner, the human head mounted on his corner post starts in.
That's it, kiddo. You're really giving it to him out there. Use the left more. Jab. Make him hurt. That's a ticket to a knockout.
Up in her cage, Meagan clutches a terrified Lizzy. Interior studio, same time. Erwin watches Jason sleep as the cultists bang down the studio door. Interior Nightmare Arena next moment. Ding! The bell sounds again and round 2 begins. Freddy and Jason get to their feet and close in on each other. Jason swings wide. Freddy ducks under Jason's massive fist as the referee steps in for a close look. Whoomp! Jason knocks the ref's head off. It goes flying up to the balcony. The crowd cheers. Jason chases Freddy around the ring, looking for an opening. Freddy backpedals, tripping over the ref's decapitated body as several hungry zombies drag him out of the ring, ripping his body apart and devouring it. Up in their cage, Meagan and Lizzy grimace with disgust. Jason reaches down and grabs Freddy, hoisting him high above his head. Then Jason body slams Freddy into the mat. The crowd cheers. Jason starts jumping up and down on Freddy's back. Freddy reaches into his shirt and brings out a rusty can of spinach. In a grotesque parody of Popeye, he opens the can full of nasty worms and maggots and gulps it down. Suddenly, Freddy throws Jason off his back and stands, huge muscles ballooning off his chest and arms. At the end of his right hand, a heavy metal boxing glove. Jason gets to his feet in time to see Freddy cock the massive glove for a blow. Ching! Dozens of spikes spring out of the metal glove. Freddy swings, knocking Jason to the ropes. He bounces off and falls to the mat. The fans go nuts. As Jason tries to get up, Freddy swings his right arm around and around, the metal boxing glove turning into a giant mallet. Jason looks up just in time to see the mallet coming down. Wham! Freddy drives Jason into the mat. The crowd goes wild. From up in her cage, Meagan starts to scream. Meagan. Meagan screaming.
Jason, get up! Get up!
Angle under the mat. It's dark, foreboding, underwater abyss. Jason's leg kicks, trying to get back up. Something slithers up from the deep. Wisps of empty blackness clutching at Jason's boots. Freddy pushes down on Jason's mask, shoving him down. Jason struggles but keeps slipping. This looks like the end of Jason. Freddy laughs.
Jason, you've got to get up!
Jason's point of view of Freddy looking down at him, pushing him down, drowning him. Flash cut to exterior Camp Crystal Lake, 1953 day. Young Jason point of view as he's being drowned. He fights to get to the surface to see who it is. Young Jason breaks to the surface for an instant and his killer comes into sharp focus. It's Freddy, age 13. His Camp Crystal Lake name tag reads, "Hi, my name is Freddy." He pushes the young Jason down again, laughing. Hard cut to interior Nightmare Arena, next instant. Freddy pushes Jason down into the abyss below the mat, laughing when Jason snaps. With a burst of strength, he kicks upward, coming out of the mat. Jason grabs Freddy by the throat and seizes him up with him. Jason's momentum carries both of them up to the ceiling where they crash through to interior studio, continuous action. Jason wakes up holding Freddy by the throat as he bangs his head into the lighting gridwork above the studio. A light explodes and Freddy cries in pain, then realizes he's been brought into the real world.
Oh, shit.
Jason throws Freddy to the ground, then raises up a boot and stomps Freddy's head, squashing it like a tomato. The drained demons squirt out. Just then, the cultists break down the studio door. They raise their weapons to fire when their heads suddenly implode. They fall screaming to the floor, dead. Exterior religious TV station night, same instant. The remaining cultists shooting shooting it out with the police suddenly grab their heads, screaming. Their heads implode and they fall to the ground. Murdoch sees this and says to the SWAT commander,
Now's my chance. Give me 60 seconds to get in there, then move in.
Before the commander can reply, Murdoch is off and running to the station. Interior studio, same time. Meagan and Lizzy come out of their sleep-like trance and embrace. Then Meagan looks up at Erwin.
What took you so long?
Erwin gestures to Jason, trying to keep his voice low so as to not hurt the big guy's feelings.
Whatever you do, don't let this guy drive.
Meagan smiles at Jason.
I knew you'd come.
Jason and Meagan look over to where Freddy's body is fast decaying, turning back to the blackened bones, scraps of cloth, and rusting glove of knives. The dream demons squirm around on the studio floor, then swim into the open end of the camera cable and disappear. In the control room, Freddy's face appears on every monitor, laughing.
Oh no, Freddy's in the transmitter.
Erwin watches as an electrical Freddy impulse races from the control room via a long, thick cable running overhead.
He's going to the satellite dish. If he has links with a vacation satellite, he can beam himself anywhere in the world. We'll never be rid of him.
Meagan and Jason look up at the Freddy impulse shoots past them, going to the ceiling to the exterior religious TV station roof. Continuous action. The satellite dish mounted on the roof. It begins to pulsate with an olive and red glow, getting ready to beam Freddy. Interior studio, same time. Meagan reaches up and grabs the cable, pulling it hard. Exterior roof, continuous action. The roof gives way, tilting the big dish just as it blasts the laughing Freddy beam into the night sky. Exterior Earth's upper atmosphere, next instant. The Freddy beam just misses the satellite, ricocheting off one of the solar panels and sending the satellite tumbling into deep space. The deflected Freddy beam now zooms toward the sun. Inside the beam, Freddy sees the sun zooming up and screams. His face burns away, leaving a screaming skull. That too burns away, leaving the dream demons. One by one, they burn up as the beam reaches the sun. Angle on the sun as the beam explodes, causing a solar prominence. Interior TV station studio, same time. The ceiling collapses in on Jason, burying him under a ton of rubble and a big antenna dish. A ton of dust billows up. Just then Murdoch bursts in. He sees Lizzy and Meagan and takes aim with a shotgun. Erwin sees this and jumps in between them, yelling.
No, wait.
Murdoch fires. The shotgun blast knocks Erwin across the room where he lands in a heap. Meagan and Lizzy run to his side. Erwin struggles to breathe, a large hole in his chest. With fading strength, Erwin pulls his pin out and pricks himself. Erwin smiles and dies.
Erwin!
He's dead. And so are you if you don't put your hands up right now.
Lizzy turns and attacks Murdoch. He knocks her to the floor, taking aim at her head with the shotgun and says,
Time I taught you girls some respect for the law.
In a panic, Meagan snatches up the pistol from the fallen cultist and fires it in Murdoch's head. Twang! Murdoch's hat goes flying off with a spark hit, revealing his bald, hideous head, a large open wound with metal plate underneath his head. He turns toward Meagan with an evil grin on his face.
You want to be a punk?
Murdoch raises the shotgun, taking aim on Meagan.
Then die like a punk.
Murdoch starts to squeeze the trigger when Jason's hand shoots out of the rubble pile behind him. Jason jams his hand down the back of Murdoch's pants and pulls up his briefs, lifting him a foot off the floor with a Jason wedgie as he rises from the rubble. We see Murdoch's name written into his shorts. As Murdoch screams, Jason jerks the shotgun from his hand and jams it up his ass, right through the seat of his pants. Murdoch's cheeks bulge out as the muzzle slams into the roof of his mouth. Jason cocks the shotgun, and boom! Murdoch's head and shoulders explode from his torso, leaving his broken spine sticking out from his shirt. Bits of Murdoch splatter the floor as his metal plate comes pinging down, rolling around and spinning to a stop like a hubcap. Jason drops Murdoch, what's left of him, to the floor just as the SWAT commander and his men come charging in. They see Jason and raise their guns in panic.
No!
Too late. The cops let loose with a barrage of gunfire. Bullet hits explodes Jason's chest. Meagan grabs Lizzy and covers her up as the bullets whiz past. More cops hear the shooting and come running. They start shooting too. Soon the doorway to the studio is crowded with muzzle flash. More and more bullets hit smack Jason. A bullet hole outlines appears on the wall behind him. Cops start running out of ammo and a cry goes up. More ammo, more ammo. Various inserts of cops going for hideout pistols, opening their trunks and taking out ammo cans, passing the weapons and ammo up the staircase to the cops in the studio. Jason keeps getting shot. Pieces of him are flying off. Fingers shoot off a hand. A knee gets shot away to reveal bone. Dozens of bullet hits going off his chest and head. Finally, the cops start to run out of ammo. The shooting subsides and finally grinds to a stop, leaving the cops knee-high in brass and a thick layer of gun smoke in the room. As it clears, Jason still stands. He teeters a little, then falls backwards with a mighty thud. Jason lays dying. Meagan rushes to his side. Jason reaches to the one with giant holes in his chest and pulls something out. Jesse's heart. Jason hands the heart to Meagan, then Jason's head rolls back. He's dead. Meagan begins weeping as we pull out of the studio, revealing her surrounded by Jason, Freddy, and Murdoch. Dissolved to interior Lizzy's room, night. Meagan tucks Lizzy into bed. She gives her the Raggedy Ann doll and kisses her goodnight. As Meagan turns out the light, Lizzy asks,
You forgot to check under the bed.
Meagan clucks and bends down, peering under the bed. Nada.
No monsters here.
What if they come back?
Then we'll just have to kick their ass again.
Lizzy giggles.
I love you, Meagan.
I love you too. Now go to sleep.
Interior Megan's house continues action. As Meagan crosses to her room, her parents call up from the bottom of the stairs. Meagan looks down at her parents.
Meagan,
Yes, Dad?
your mom and I, well, we want to thank you for, saving your sister's life. And we know you went through a lot.
We're going to be there for you from now on, for both of you. And that nice lawyer we hired for you said he thinks he can get all the charges dropped, except maybe for the grave robbing and human desecration.
Everything's going to be fine.
I know.
And I'm going to get sober.
And we're going to be a normal, happy family again.
I know.
Good night, sweetheart.
Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad.
Good night, Meagan.
Interior Megan's room, night. Megan is ready for bed, drawing back the covers when the phone rings. She picks it up.
Hello?
I'll be seeing you in your dreams.
Freddy's nasty tongue slithers out of the handset and licks Megan in the face. She yelps and slams down.
I know.
Megan puts the phone in the drawer and closes it. She climbs into bed and pulls back the pillow to reveal the pistol Erwin gave Jesse to kill Freddy. She smiles and pulls the pistol back under her pillow. Blackness. The phone rings. Roll end credits. Then, at the very end, cut to Interior Nightmare Arena, same time. Ted Bundy and all the spectators are looking up at the hole in the ceiling that Jason and Freddy made when they went back to reality, waiting. Finally, somebody says,
I don't think they're coming back.
Okay, folks. Show's over. Everybody, including Shrek, can go home now.
All the monsters get grumbling and start to exit. Cut to black. Now it's over. The end.
Well, that was nuts. I don't think I could have expected that from anything of that. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next one.